Hello, hi, welcome back everybody to the Dough Cooking Show, to the Dough Cooking Stream. I hope you all are having a beautiful Wednesday. It is good to see all of you. It is good to see all of my lovely sous chefs. If you're watching this live, the time is currently 5 p.m. EDT, June 26th, excuse me, and it's lovely to see all of you. Hello to Shy Chica, hello to Punish Mage, hello to Scribblo, hello to Arc317, hello to Trash Can Cat Mom, hello to Turina Chess, hello to Dosky. It is good to have all of you. Welcome on in. Hello to Iskia as well. Hello, hello, hello. So, it is lovely to have all of you. Welcome on in. It is good to see all of you. I'm just trying to find a better place to put my iPad. Everybody, we have some bittersweet news today. Also, Just Crazy Cookie, welcome on in. This is going to be the final cooking stream in this kitchen. I am going to be moving. I signed my contract today. We made the apartment application, but I signed my contract today. We're going to be moving, and I also have a work trip coming on up. This is the final stream in this kitchen, and this means that after today's show, we will be going on a bit of a 2-week hiatus or so. The exact dates and details, you can find them in my Discord. You can also find them as my pinned post on Twitter. Please, please keep up with the community while we are in these difficult times of a hiatus. It's been almost exactly a year of the Dough Cooking Show. We're moving to a new place that has a beautiful kitchen. There's also a backyard, meaning grilling potential is afoot. Which can also be really, really cool and exciting. But everybody, today we're going to be doing a lovely dish called Seco de Pollo. So let me talk to you about my inspiration for today's dish. On Sunday, I was out at a bar, and I ran into somebody who said that, I'm so sorry I forgot your name, who said that they watched this show with their girlfriend on the couch, and they specifically watch it on the YouTube VODs. And that's how I knew they were real fans. So, shout outs to them. It's lovely to see them. Also, Ando Goat, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. And so, she asked me if I've ever done any kind of Ecuadorian food on the show, and I said no. I said my only knowledge of Ecuadorian food is cuy. And so I was recommended Seco de Pollo. And I looked into it, and it was right up my alley. It's this beautiful chicken stew. It's made with some citrus. Specifically, in this case, we'll be using some orange juice and beer. So it's a citrus and beer chicken stew with some nice vegetables in it. And to go alongside it, my friends, we'll be making some lovely rice as well as some Plátanos. We're going to make some really beautiful fried plantains. I'm unaccustomed to working with plantains, and so that's what I wanted today to be for me to also get a hang of them. So let's go ahead and walk through some of our ingredients. And as always, everybody, today would not be the Dough Cooking Show without a big, beautiful whole chicken. I have one small whole chicken. We're going to be making our own chicken stock. We'll be cutting it up into pieces, and then we'll be slowly cooking it through until it is moist and tender and delicious. So we have some beautiful whole chicken here, my friends, which we'll be preparing. I'll be walking you through exactly how to butcher it. Is everybody watching? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please and thank you. I can go ahead and put that behind me. Okay, next, what do we have? Everybody, these are all of the different vegetables that we are going to need for my purposes today. I have some lovely fresh orange. We're going to make our own orange juice out of this. We'll be pressing this out, and that will go into the Seco de Pollo. We have some lovely tomatoes as well. We have some Serrano chilies, purely because this is what I had in my fridge. Serranos would not be very typical in this. We have some red onion, which we'll chop up. And last but not least, we also have a lovely green bell pepper. So all of these vegetables, all of this lovely produce is going to make up the base of the Seco de Pollo. Okay, next. What are a couple of other things that I have? Everybody, I have some beer. I'm going to be honest with you really quickly. It doesn't really matter the kind of beer that you use. I have some Modelo here because that's what my local bodega sold. But you could use any kind of beer that you want for this. So as long as it's not a very dark brown beer. So it's not like a chocolatey stout or something like that. Any light beer, any Pilsner, anything like that, it will all be fine. Guys, this idea of, oh, you have to cook with the same alcohol that you eat. It's all completely nonsense. Just use whatever. Use whatever that you have access to, because once you do cook it down, you do lose a lot of its aromatic flavors, you do lose a lot of its characteristics, and so any beer that's not like a stout would be okay for a dish like this. Also, Iskia, you said, I take great care for the texture of foods. Most people have bad experience with mushy vegetables. Well, Iskia, that's right. We're here to really control our textures. Okay, everybody, I have two beautiful plantains. These are nicely ripened. These are almost like fully ripened to black. I would have ideally liked them to be fully ripened black plantains. But alas, these are the furthest ones along I could find. To hasten the process, to expedite the process of letting your plantains ripen, you would put them into either a paper bag or a plastic bag, and that helps them to get nice and sweeter and nice and softer. Can I do a plantain phone, please? Boop, boop, boop. Hello. So Eskia, there you go. Did that just for you. So yeah, we have 2 lovely plantains. We'll just be frying them up. It's super, super easy. I'll be showing you exactly how to do that. Is it true that plantains are just bananas that got tattoos? Serena, not quite. It is my understanding that plantains are a different cultivar. They're a different cultivar, or rather, they're a cultivar of bananas themselves. Okay, also, thank you so much, Eskia, for the sub. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so that was me linking. I see. And then everybody, as far as my seasonings and spices for today go, they'll be super simple. I have some pimento here. Okay, we also have some Mexican oregano that I have access to, and then we also have some sazon, because typically you would have achiote, you would have annatto seeds in this. I don't actually have immediate access to annatto, and so sazon is one of my favorite spice mixes because it has direct and easy access to annatto seeds, which are really, really delicious. You call fried plantains local? Well, also Meek123, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Yeah, fried plantains, you have so many different kinds. You have maduros, which are the really, really mature, really ripened plantains. You have tostones, which are like flattened in half. You have the green plantains. There's a lot of different words for it. I love eating plantains, and so I wanted to try my hand at making it. And everybody, in addition to that, we'll just be doing some basic rice. I have haigu rice, but the methods that I'll be showing you will be applicable to anything. So we have to make our own chicken stock. We have to butcher the chicken itself. We have to get all the vegetable scraps, put them into the pressure cooker pot as well. Also, everybody, if you're not following this channel, please go ahead and do so. We have to go ahead and get all the different vegetables, all the different components ready for my Seco de Pollo. Is everybody excited for today? I want to hear a nice, resounding yes, chef, please and thank you from everybody watching. So, housekeeping. Once again, this is the last time that you're seeing this kitchen. This is the last time that you'll be seeing the setup. After today, we will be going on a hiatus. So, we will be moving into a new place. It'll be amazing. I'll announce everything when it's ready. We'll announce the new stream date. Everybody join the Discord, ! Discord in the chat, or you can scroll down into the About section. Stay with the community, interact with everybody. I really want to build it up. I really want to get everybody nice and active. Second of all, please, please, please check out my Patreon, ! Patreon, to directly financially support the show. That is the best way of helping us do things. I have a lot of moving expenses coming up, and my goal is to do this full time one day. Third, at any point, you are free to ask me any and all questions. You can type in ! menu to see the full list of all the different things that we have to do today. Also, Meek, you've been watching for months, you're good? Well, Meek, I hope you stay a lot longer. Okay, can we use low alcohol beer for this recipe, asks Daddy? And the answer is absolutely. We're really going to be evaporating all of the alcohol through the process of cooking, so you don't really need it to have the alcohol itself, and you're just there for a little bit of extra flavor. Also, Luigi, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Everybody, again, this is the new channel. This is Daramgar TV. This is going to be the future home of the cooking show, so please follow this channel. Okay, everybody, we now have to go ahead and start with our lovely chicken stock for today. And as always, I have a pressure cooker pot ready on the stove, ready to go. I love doing pressure cooker chicken stocks because it's so much more realistic in a home setting. You don't have to sit over the pot for a few hours. You throw everything inside. It gets everything done super, super quickly. You could roast the bones. You could saute the scraps if you would like. But my goal today is just to get a really, really, really simple chicken stock, my friends. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with the process of getting all of my vegetable scraps for today. The beauty of making a homemade chicken stock. Also, Luigi, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate it. The beauty of making your own homemade chicken stock, my friends, is that it's also a very nice way of using up vegetable scraps. When it comes to boxed and canned chicken stocks, they suck. Boxed and canned chicken stocks, my friends, they suck. They're not so good. They have so little flavor. Making your own homemade chicken stocks is so much cheaper and it is so much more delicious. So we're going to be using a bell pepper today. And so I'm going to show you how to break down and process a bell pepper. Instead of going in there and cutting out the core, everybody, all you have to do is just stack it up, ready, and shave the sides. We're going to keep the white part, and we're going to keep all of the seeds inside. Just take it and shave it, just like so. Take it and shave it. Take it and shave it. Take it and shave it. And that way, my friends, we are left with all of the seeds and these little spongy parts. They can absolutely just get tossed away. The bottom of the bell pepper, excuse me, I just dropped that 3 times in a row. The bottom of the bell pepper can just go right into the stock pot. And everybody, we can go ahead and just get the top of the bell pepper into the chicken stock as well, just because it'll be some extra flavor. You can never go wrong with some extra flavor, my friends, and it's just a very nice way of using up our existing scraps instead of throwing them away. So, bell pepper scraps going inside. Next, we're also going to be having this onion that we'll be cooking with today, and instead of just throwing out the head, we'll take it and we'll cut the top off. We'll be throwing out like the dirtiest part, right? The part that is directly in contact with the skin itself. Rip it off, and in this goes into the pressure cooker pot as well, my friends. We'll be doing the rest of the onion chopping later on, but again, you can go ahead and get a bunch of nice aromatic vegetable scraps inside. It's just a really nice way of using them up so that you don't have to throw anything away. Similarly, I have these 2 serrano peppers, guys. Instead of throwing the heads away, I'll also just be taking it and throwing this into my chicken stock. Okay, last but not least, the most annoying thing that we have left over for you today, my friends, is going to be processing some cilantro. This is Latin American cuisine. This is Seco de Pollo. This is all over Latin America. So the variation I'm doing today is specifically from Ecuador. Okay, and so we have all of this lovely fresh cilantro, but with it we have all of its stems. Instead of throwing the stems away, we'll simply be picking it and adding it into the stock pot. Everybody, if you have any cooking questions for me, this will be the best time to ask me, because right now, I just have a bunch, and I mean a bunch of cilantro stems to take care of. This is Seco de Pollo. It's going to have a bunch of cilantro inside of it. You can't really have Latin American cooking. You can't have Latin American food without cilantro. And so, instead of throwing those stems away, we'll just be adding them directly into the chicken stock itself. Okay? So going ahead, getting all of these bad boys nice and plucked, everybody. So it'll take a good couple of minutes. So yeah, everybody, I'm really, really excited about the upcoming move. So some of the pluses, the kitchen space, I don't think it's going to be exactly as big as this one, but there is like a lovely microwave hood. Second of all, I'm going to have access to a backyard. And that for me is a dream come true. I somehow have a backyard in New York City, of all places. But guys, you know what that means? We're going to be grilling. We're going to be grilling and, dare I say, even chilling. We're going to be grilling. We're going to be doing some really, really cool stuff. I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do. I definitely want to do like natural wood. I don't really have much interest in owning a gas grill. So I want to do like open wood fire cooking. I want to do open charcoal. Get like a little like Japanese charcoal grill, right? Do some skewers on it, do some like really, really nice little thin pieces of meat. That's what I love to do, and I'm gonna be really, really excited to do that. That has not been ever. So learning how to use actual live fire and learning how to use wood, it is a very, very complicated set of skills. And so some people, they have it developed, some people do not. That's not a skill that I've ever been able to personally develop because of the fact that I live in a New York City apartment and I've never had access to any kind of grill besides a gas grill whenever we would go on vacation, or I would go ahead and visit somebody else. And so I'm really, really excited about being able to do that. The flavor of the natural charcoal, the flavor of the wood itself, being able to do things on a grill, to let things drip down. You get so much more amazing stuff. Smoking some meats with the Sweet Baby Lays. Dosky, I am not Mark Zuckerberg, so maybe not quite. Yeah, just smoking some meats. I love that video. That video is so funny. It's one of the funniest videos to ever come out of the internet. Okay, so, you know, this process of getting the cilantro leaves off the stems, a lot of effort sometimes. I'm sub but not following. Well, Meek1232, this is your time to go ahead and change that now. But yes, so I'll be trying to figure out how to get in so the outdoor camera stuff, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for quite a while. But at some point, I think that would be really, really fun, right? To be able to set up a camera to do some live fire cooking. Ugh. Hopefully by the fall. Hopefully by the fall to get at least one camera outside. That's like a bit of a stretch goal at the moment if I'm able to do it. And if not, that's okay too. But I would love to be able to get some grilling done this summer at least. So that'll be a really fun skill to learn. But everybody, here's the thing about learning how to cook. And here's the thing about learning basically any creative field. It's not like it's just one skill that you learn. Right? It's not like, oh, you learn how to cook and you're done with it. You have to learn a lot of different unrelated things. okay, that are seemingly unrelated in the greater umbrella that is cooking. The best way that this was described to me, I believe there was like a 70-30 rule. Whenever I tried to learn 3D modeling very briefly, it was my understanding that like learning shaders, learning modeling, learning how to sculpt things, these are all very, very different skills that require a different set of fundamentals. So I have a lot of fundamentals in a lot of different parts of cooking, but I don't have any fundamentals built up into the world of live fire cooking. So that's going to be a really, really huge adjustment. Everybody, all of my cilantro stems, they can just go right inside. And the rest of my lovely cilantro leaves, I'm going to go ahead and put back into my container and let them stay nice and fresh. Everybody, the way that you keep your herbs from spoiling, as always, keep them in a container with a paper towel. Keep them in a container with a paper towel, and they will last sometimes more than a week. You wash them, contain it with a paper towel, make sure that your herbs are nice and dry. I use a salad spinner. Everybody, if you don't own a salad spinner, you're making a mistake, and they stay nice and fresh. I'm going to put this back into my fridge, and then everybody, it will be time for us to break down a big, beautiful whole chicken. Also, actually, I still have a couple of scallion stems. You're still learning how to cook? Well, Meek, guess what? Learning how to cook is going to be a lifelong process. There will always be more amazing, incredible things to learn. I have these leftover scallions, and so I thought, let's go ahead and just chuck in. Oh, I've been watching too many British chefs lately. I'm just going to go get the scallion bottoms into the pot as well. They have a nice allium-y flavor, my friends. Get them in there. Don't waste them. And I can put this back in my fridge. Okay. So all of my vegetable scraps are officially inside. Now I will teach you how to break down a whole chicken. Everybody, I love breaking down whole chickens. It's cheaper, typically speaking, than to buy all of the parts individually, and you get all of the byproduct. You get all of that beautiful bone with which to make a gorgeous chicken stock. Get into the habit of buying whole chickens. It is not difficult to break it down, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. So, Daddy, my answer is a salad spinner is not going to be just another kitchen gadget you don't use if you at least use herbs. Cilantro, parsley, basil, tarragon, any of those kinds of fresh herbs, I absolutely recommend. Just for those, get a salad spinner. Unless you just want to whack around a kitchen towel. Okay, let's go get all of these little leaves off of my cutting board. Let's get the stuff out of here. And everybody, let's go grab my nice, big, beautiful whole chicken. Again, why do we get into the habit of buying whole chickens? We get into the habit of buying whole chickens because, first of all, we get the byproduct that is the bones, and we get to cut it to the way that we want, and oftentimes it can be a little bit cheaper as well. I'm going to try to pluck off some of the feathers that they left on the wings for some reason here. That's okay. It happens to the best of us. Come on, buddy. Off you go. Thank you. And the wings themselves will only be used for the chicken stock. So, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and teach you, and I'll be walking you through this process. This is one of the first things that we've ever done on stream. It's something that I feel like is iconic of this channel, the whole chicken at this point, and I'm here to continue instilling this habit onto you. Everybody, we have one beautiful whole chicken with our name on it. As in, it's just for us. Great, wonderful. So what do? We have 2 wings, we have 2 legs, and we have 2 lovely, beautiful, voluptuous breasts. And I'm going to show you how to break it apart. Everybody can do this. You just need a nice, sharp knife. I wouldn't use a chef's knife for this because they're a little too thick and clunky. Traditionally, you would use a boning knife, right? But this is just a basic petty knife that I'm using here, nice and sharp. Everybody, we're going to start by taking off the wings. So think about your own arms. Think about your shoulders really quickly. All that you need to go ahead and do, take your knife, see where it meets the bone, see where it meets the rest of the carcass, make a little incision, and get that wing out of here, my friends. Super easy, super simple. Take it, run your knife in between the joint, and out the wing goes, and that is going to go into the stock because I don't have much use for the chicken wings themselves. So everybody, little incision, little incision, little incision. Take it and cut that wing off. And let's go ahead and get that into the pressure cooker pot. So both wings are off. We have the legs and the breasts left. Next, let's go ahead and get those legs off, my friends. So 2 beautiful chicken legs that we have here. And so all that, I just really like tapping my knife against this. Everybody, look at where it meets the rest of the carcass. Look at where it meets it. All you need to do, little incision, cut through the skin just like so. Really, really nice and simple, really nice and easy. And then the rest of it just peels off. And we'll be keeping the skin on today. We'll be searing the skin first before it actually goes into the stew itself, my friends. Just take it and cut along it, get that oyster, if you can, and just cut along it, go in between the joint, my friends, and off goes one big, beautiful chicken leg. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same exact thing with the next one. Take it, make a nice little incision, my friends. Right? And take it, just snap the joint. We're just going in between the joint here. It's super simple. Anybody can do this, okay? Take it, right? Snap it, snap it, snap it, and cut it right out, my friends. There you go. Snapped right out. Excellent. And off goes my second chicken leg. Yep, that's right. Chicken butchery. We're never cutting through bone. We're only going between the joints. That is why butchering a chicken is so easy. We're never going with a bandsaw. We're never cutting through bone. And now, everybody, last but not least, let's get these lovely chicken breasts out in one good shot. So, you have a breastbone that is running right here that is dividing this into the two breasts. Pick the first side that you're going to be doing this on and go on either side of that breastbone and make a nice incision. You don't need to cut through super all the way, but we have to go through to the skin. Make almost like an L-shaped cut, my friends. Right? Make an L-shaped cut. Make an L-shaped cut. Hold on. I went in a little bit too close to the wing bone itself. Although I do think that should be mostly okay. And everybody come take a look. We just take our thumb and we just basically peel the meat off. This is the chicken breast. This is the chicken tender sitting under it. We're gonna try our best to keep the chicken tender nice and intact. We wanna keep it attached to the chicken breast itself. So everybody, just take it and peel it off. Take it and peel it off. Take it and peel it off. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Anybody can do this. Getting some gloves for the step is always a really, really good choice so that it doesn't get under your nails or anything. Okay? Just peel it off, get through all of those little tendons there. Okay? And everybody, once we are officially at this stage, you can see that it is just begging to come off of the rest of the carcass here. All that we need to do is just take a nice sharp knife and finish peeling it off. Finish peeling it off, finish peeling it off. There you go. And off it comes, my friends. One big, beautiful chicken breast, ready to go, tender, nice and intact. And the only thing left that I'm gonna do to this thing is I accidentally have some of the wing cartilage. I'll take that and throw this into the pressure cooker pot as well. Everybody, let's do the last chicken breast, and then we'll be all done with this step for today. Also, I do have the wishbone actually stuck in here. I don't know how, but they broke the wishbone in the processing of this chicken. So let's go get that wishbone off. Let's get that thing peeled away. No need for that. Excellent. Everybody, one last chicken piece that we have to go ahead and take care of now. Ready? And there you go. Nice incision all the way through, all the way to the bottom. And make a nice little L-shaped cut. Everybody, all that we do now, we take the tender and we peel it off of the bone. We take it and we peel it off. Nice and simple, nice and easy. We take it and it peels right off. Just keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. Chef, how does this affect the chicken's legacy? It makes him really dead, Eskia. That's what we're doing to this chicken. We're really, really killing it a second time here. That's how it affects his legacy. Okay? And there we go. Everybody, second chicken breast off. And then we have this big, beautiful carcass. And if this does not fit inside of your pot, if you have a slightly bigger chicken, just take it, split the breastbone and the backbone, and then just go ahead and just break it in half. You just have to twist at the joint, get it out nice and easy. Chicken backbone, chicken breastbone, all of this goes inside of the pressure cooker pot, my friends. And that's all. That's it. That is everything that we need to be able to beautifully and properly pressure cook this chicken stock. So, what is inside of the stock, everybody? Let me tell you right now. We have my onion scraps, my scallion scraps, my cilantro scraps, my bell pepper scraps, as well as my chicken scraps. All of those bones. This is why, my friends, you never, ever, ever buy boxed chicken stock. This is why you always buy whole chickens, because you get to make something really beautiful, really delicious. Homemade chicken stock will always be that much better, my friends. So, take this bad boy. We're gonna put this on high pressure for 50 minutes. Get that done, get that out of here. 50 minutes at high pressure, and then we will be left with a glorious, beautiful chicken stock by the end of it. Also, thank you so much to Meek for the sub. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, and the chicken stock is going, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of things away really quickly. I have my knife that I need to rinse off. I gotta get all that chickeny stuff off of it. So please give me a second as I do so. Also, Anime Night, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a wash. Everybody, when you when you cook, you clean as you go. Make sure your sink is empty. Make sure that dishwasher is empty. Let me go ahead and just clean up my knife really quickly because we will be using it later on today. Chess is kind of like cooking. Eskia, I mean, I don't think I completely see it. I feel like in chess there's a lot less fundamentals that you need to learn. Specifically, right, you have like, you have early game, you have end games that you need to learn. You need to understand points and board control and advantage. But I feel like cooking is a lot of different little skills. It's a lot of different seemingly unrelated little skills that you have to master. I sub for the cooking, it looks nice. Well, Meek, I'm glad that I could provide. So everybody, really quickly, before you begin cooking, the way to cook at home, clean kitchen, empty sink, empty dishwasher if you have one. You cannot cook in a messy kitchen. Your dishes will overpile. You will be missing equipment that you need. Take the time and clean before you start. I need to hear a yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. I know, cleaning sucks. Cleaning sucks so much, but cleaning will suck more if you overload your kitchen's capacity. Cooking will suck more. So, get it done yesterday. Get it done just before you begin cooking, my friends. Your life is too precious and valuable to waste it on cooking in a dirty kitchen. It's so much more effort. It is so annoying. It is not what you want to be doing. So, quickly washing up my knife, quickly decontaminating it, getting some soap on there. Just making sure that everything is nice and sanitized and ready to go for all of my later purposes. Okay, excellent. Everybody, my knife seems to be nicely and beautifully washed at this stage, so I'll be going ahead and drying that off now. And then we'll go ahead and do the rest of the stuff that we need to do today. So, my knife is now nice and clean. And now everybody will be doing a fairly important step for the chicken here, which is dry brining the chicken. Everybody, this is super important, and this might seem obvious to some of you that have been cooking for a little while, but I'm gonna explain something to you. Everybody, the way that you can really ensure a super proper, beautiful, juicy piece of chicken is to do a little something that we in the kitchen call dry brining. And that is essentially a big fancy terminology for just heavily salting a piece of meat and then letting it sit with the salt. The salt does a couple of things. First of all, everybody, the salt penetrates the meat itself because it's water soluble, and it makes sure that it's seasoned from the inside out. If you were just to put salt on it just before it cooks versus letting it dry brine, the salt will be all on the outside instead of on the inside. The second thing that you have to go ahead and do, that the salt accomplishes, is it helps to keep the chicken juicier as it cooks. It actually increases the moisture retention. So even if you were to accidentally overcook it, you have a higher chance of the chicken being juicy. If I ended up with free beef trachea, what would I do with it? I don't think I know what to do with beef trachea, Serena, not in the slightest. Okay, everybody, now I'm going to debunk something. I'm going to tell you something right now that is complete and utter nonsense. And that is the idea of infusing spices into something. We're not marinating this with seasonings. We're not putting oregano and cumin and my pimento on this before it goes in. It actually accomplishes nothing. The spices do not penetrate the meat itself. Only water-soluble things do, such as salt and sugar. But putting spices on the outside of it will not actually penetrate the meat itself. It won't actually marinate it. That is a very huge misconception that people have. People romanticize. They say, oh, you must put the seasonings 30 minutes before to really let it penetrate. And that is just not true. Everybody, we're going to take a bunch of salt and we're going to really generously get under the skin flaps, season up the chicken nice and up high so that it evenly covers it. Come take a look. If we season up close, all of the salt is in one spot. Season from up high, and all of the salt is spread out. I feel like I said that with like Joker inflection, right? Where he's like, salt close to it. And it's all, never mind. You know the meme I'm referencing, okay? So take it, flip it around really quickly. That's just a little bit of blood left over. Who cares? It's just some blood. It'll get cooked out, okay? Take it and get some more salt on there, my friends. Get it all nice and seasoned. And this is going to basically sit in the fridge until it's nice and dry brined. Ideally, you would do this for at least a couple of hours. You don't want to go past 8 hours. That can start to actively dry out the chicken as it is exposed to both the salt and the oxygen all at once. And so I'm going to say just until we're ready to cook it is okay. All right? So let's go ahead and get this bad boy into the fridge, my friends. And this is just going to dry brine until we are ready to cook with it. And that's going to be a little while. Also, please, Twitch user Milky, even if it's your first time here, don't go into Twitch streams and call people mommy. That is incredibly uncomfortable, and it probably creeps people out. Okay, so don't do that. Please and thank you. That is a little bit too forward. Does the granularity of the salt matter? I use rough chunks of salt. As Kia, I only use kosher salt because I'm able to pinch it. Otherwise, the same mass of, salt, how do you say? All types of salt, right? 1 gram of kosher salt versus 1 gram of sea salt, they will be the same. Although they do occupy different volumes because some salts, they have like hollow structures on the inside, whereas table salt is very, very dense. And so the actual grain size doesn't really matter as long as you're using the same weight. The reason I use kosher salt is because it dissolves easy, because it's hollow, and it's still big enough for me to be able to pick up and pinch. If you're using like chunks of sea salt, that are not hollow on the inside, it actually won't dissolve as easily. So what I'm trying to say is don't get chunks of salt that are too big because then they won't actually properly penetrate the chicken itself. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and have a little sip of water. And so everybody, at the moment, what we need to go ahead and do now is just get all of my vegetable prep done. We're basically going to be making another sofrito. A sofrito is like essentially an aromatic base, right? So in French cooking, you have a mirepoix, and Latin American cooking, you have a sofrito. And in this case, this is going to be bell pepper, chili, onions, as well as some cilantro, which will be added later on into the process. So I'm going to go ahead and get some gloves on to protect my dainty little eczema-ridden feminine hands. Everybody, once again, if you'd like to support the cooking show, !Patreon is the best way to financially do so. Best way to just directly get support in. Okay, so bell peppers are required, and we're basically looking for really, really small chunks. The goal of these vegetables is to dissolve and become a part of the Seco de Pollo. The goal is not to get big chunks of vegetables. So everybody, lay down these bell peppers and just cut them into some nice, thin strips first and foremost. Thin strips all the way through, okay? Thin strips, keep it processing, and then once we cut into thin strips, we'll be cutting it into little cubes. So everybody, nice big slices, not chopping, we are slicing. Nice and thin, everybody. That is the key for this today. Nice and thin, nice and small. The goal is to get all of this to basically melt into the final Seco de Pollo. The goal is not to be ending up with massive chunks. Now, if you want massive chunks of bell pepper, if you want massive chunks of vegetable inside of this, absolutely be my guest. This is your food too. You are welcome to treat this in whichever way that you would like. So, guys, there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's all about a matter of intentions. If the goal is to get this to melt in and become a part of the Seco de Pollo, then you can go ahead and cut it as small as possible. If you want the vegetables to retain a certain amount of texture, then you cut it into big chunks. What I would really heavily recommend that you do in that case is that you reserve some that you cut up really, really small so that it melts in, and that you reserve some for in big chunks so that you can go ahead and bite into it. And by having those two textures, you will accomplish both goals. I'm not going to be bothering with the big chunks today. That's not what I'm looking for out of my Seco de Pollo. The goal for me is for my sauce to flavor the chicken itself. Okay, I don't want big chunks of vegetables today. Sometimes I do, but the goal is to have like really, really big pieces of, chicken legs and whatnot. So everybody, one last bell pepper that we cut into thin strips, and then we'll cut it up into little teeny tiny cubes. So slice it and 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 keep going. Meek, it's entertaining. Well, I'm glad. I hope to be both entertaining and educational. My goal is to teach you all how to cook at home. My goal is to improve all of your understanding of home cooking. Chef, repeating my question from before, how to defrost chicken or any meat? Really good question, pseudo-natural. So here's my answer for you. If it's a really, really thin piece of meat or fish, the best method is, if it's vacuum packed, if it's in something, you put it in a bowl with running water. And by putting it in a bowl with running water, it doesn't need to be warm water. Just cold tap running water will defrost it very quickly. If it's a thick piece of meat, think of like a whole chicken that you have frozen, I would recommend just slowly defrosting it in your fridge over the course of 2 days. So the answer is, if it's a thin piece of meat, cold running water over it, and then that can only take sometimes like just 20 to 30 minutes. Otherwise, if it's a big piece of meat, you're going to want to do it slowly in your refrigerator for a few days. You can't put it out in room temperature to defrost, because then you put it into the bacterial danger zone. It'll develop a lot of bacteria and be genuinely unsafe for you to actually go ahead and consume afterwards. So I hope that answers your question. The beauty of the bowl and running cold water method is it really gets it done super quickly. Don't use the microwave defrost setting. That thing is horrible. Terrible. It just basically cooks it. Don't do that. Don't do warm water. Just know your timings and do it in advance. Sometimes you have to hold the L. Sometimes if you forget to take the meat out of the freezer in time, well, you just kind of have to hold that. There is no very fast foolproof way, because if you do it very fast, aka in warm liquids, you will contaminate it, and then you will also be generating bacteria, as well as cooking it somewhat on the outside and destroying its texture. The idea is ultimately, you want to freeze things fast so that the ice crystals don't damage it, and then you want to defrost it slowly so that the defrosting process doesn't damage it either. Freeze fast, defrost slowly. That is your general rule of thumb when it comes to keeping especially meat, nice and intact. Okay? Because the faster that you freeze something, the smaller your ice crystals are. And so that's why it's really nice for restaurants, like especially sushi restaurants, if they're getting like fresh fish. They'll have like a very powerful freezer, something super cold. When you freeze it in super tiny ice crystals, you end up with again, just like really delicate textured meat where it's not damaged. But if you freeze something slowly, right, like just at freezing temperature, you get big ice crystal development, and it takes longer to defrost, and the ice crystals themselves, they damage the texture of the meat. They actively damage the texture of the proteins. So, freeze fast, defrost slow. Or just defrost in a cold environment is what I'm trying to say. Okay, everybody, last few bell peppers that we have to go ahead and get processed. Go ahead, stack them up, and nice little teeny tiny petite cubes. That is what we're looking for, because I want this to all properly and beautifully melt into my Seco de Pollo. So keep going. And it will be delicious. At the end of this process, my friends, it'll be delicious. It'll be fantastic. It'll be aromatic. It will be something really truly lovely. Okay? And everything begins with having a really nice, proper vegetable base. I'm gonna go ahead and get a nice big bowl, and we're gonna get all of my lovely little bell peppers inside. Let's go grab my bench scraper. Everybody, this is why this is a tool you absolutely must invest in. Just make such easy work out of piles of vegetables just like this. Such easy work, right? No need to pick it up with your hands. No need to scoop it up with your knife or anything. It just cleans up your station. So if you don't own a bench scraper, you're absolutely 100% making a mistake. This is one of my favorite pieces of kitchen equipment. Okay, next, everybody, I have a red onion, and we're going to be doing a very similar fine dice on it. This is a bit of an old leftover onion that I have here. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this like so. Excellent. Let's go ahead and peel this bad boy up. This is an old leftover onion. Everybody, there's a reason why I didn't chop this in advance. If you ever have, let's say you have 3/4 of a bell pepper left. Let's say you have a half an onion left. I never recommend people to actually chop it in advance. And let me explain to you why. First of all, the more that you chop it, the more that you crush the cells of something, the sooner it goes bad. The sooner and the faster it releases liquid as it's exposed to all the surface area, the more something oxidizes, the less of a texture it ends up having. Second of all, it really limits it. Let's say you have half a red onion left over and you pre-chopped it. When you want to go ahead and cook with it, let's say you wanted onion slices for a salad or something. By leaving it whole, you give yourself more options and it lasts longer. So guys, avoid this idea of pre-chopping and getting that prep done in advance. You don't know what you're cooking a few days from now, okay? And you will compromise the taste and the texture of a product, depending on what it is. Everybody, we have the onion held together by the root. Nice sharp knife, a bunch of thin parallel incisions. Thin parallel incisions, take it and nice thin slice. Slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it. The goal of these onions is to melt into the Seco de Pollo. The goal of them is to contribute the lovely sweet flavor and to make the sauce stand out. The goal of this is not for us to have big chunks of onion, my friends. So take your time. Knife skills matter, okay? That's half of my red onion. And let's go ahead and get that into the bowl. If your station ever gets a little bit too messy, just clean it up and add it to the bowl. Is that true for all vegetables? The answer is, generally speaking, yes, Daddy. The answer is, the sooner that you chop it, the more it loses their texture. So some people, they pre-chop their salad vegetables ahead of time. But let me tell you something right now, Daddy. Well, can I call you something else, please? So that I'm not calling you that each time. Can you give me like a different thing to call you? Their vegetable textures are just not as good. They're just not, okay, fat is fine, but that feels like somewhat derogatory if I'm like, okay, fat, you know, just like saying it like that and directly referring to you as such. But if that's fine, then I will go ahead and do that for you. Right? The whole thing with, I'm not going to say a full Twitch tag. Or maybe I can. I'm going to say it, no. I just don't want to call my Twitch viewers dad. You know, I don't particularly want to do that. Especially given recent events in my life. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead. Everybody, we're going to make a couple of incisions into this onion. If anybody knows anything, don't say anything. Right now, that was ugh. Anyhow, take my onion, hold it down nice and flat, everybody. We're going to make a couple of horizontal incisions right onto the onion, right? One more horizontal incision, and we're going to go ahead and cut it down. Cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. Get yourselves a very nice, small dice. It's wielding a knife, chat is silent. That's right, it's Kia. I'm a menacing guy with a knife on hand, right? Look at this beautiful pile of onions. Look at these beautiful knife skills. Recién entró y ya me tiró tres anuncios. So, Angel G, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what anuncios means. I don't speak Spanish, or at least not anymore. I took 8 years of Spanish when I was in school. But I gotta say, a lot of it has been lost on me. So if you could please in English, that would be very, very nice. Oh, you've entered and you got 3 commercials? I see. Yep, that's a bit of a tragedy. I can't turn off the Twitch ads in the beginning. I can't turn off the pre-roll ads. I've turned off all the other advertisements. Everybody, I really, really wish that we could be completely free of advertisements. One day, I would love for the show to be independently hosted. No advertisements whatsoever, right? But one day we will. I promise you that. Tragically, we still have to put up with them a little bit longer. I hate advertisements. None of you guys should have advertisements, but that's okay. Okay, everybody, next, I have some lovely little serrano chilies. Again, the serrano chilies in this, not super traditional, but guess what? I had 2 leftover chilies. I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to make the most out of what I have. I'm going to keep them around, and instead of, not using them, I want to use these before they spoil. We're going to be doing them seeds and all. We're going to get them all into the same exact bowl. Just slice these bad boys in half. We're going to keep the seeds in. I want to keep... Wait, did my music stop? Did I not loop my music again? Oh, everybody, I am fumbling today. We are fumbling. Okay. So, these guys, I've realized we could actually be cutting them a little bit, we don't have to be so crazy about it. We could just take this, cut this up into some strips, and then we'll get a nice small dice anyways. Again, everybody, nice and thin, because the goal of the Seco de Pollo is for all of my vegetables to melt in. If you want chunks of chilies, go ahead. If you want to garnish it with chilies, go ahead. Guess what? These are all things that you can do. Cooking is up to you. These are all choices that you can make independently. I'm showing you my method. I'm showing you my technique, but this is not a recipe recipe. This is not what home cooking is. Also, greetings from Argentina. Well, welcome on in. We're making some Seco de Pollo today. We're making an Ecuadorian style one. Well, at least my understanding of what is an Ecuadorian style Seco de Pollo. I really wish I had access to naranja, but alas, I only have just plain old oranges. So we'll be doing that instead. Everybody keep it going, keep it processing. Nice small dice on all of my chilies here. Not super traditional, but again, it'll be lovely. And also, if there's any Argentinian food that you would love to suggest to me, please by all means do so. Everybody remember, this is the last stream until we go on hiatus. If you're new, if you're new, I want to hear a nice yes, chef, right now. I want you to join my Discord, !Discord. I want to build a really, really beautiful community in the Discord. I want the Discord to stay nice and active. We'll be gone for a couple of weeks after this. If you're not already in the Discord, you're making a mistake. I would love for this community to thrive. And so, in a couple of weeks, we'll be right back to the regular show. So, everybody, we'll be moving. It's going to be a whole process. It's going to be like a whole thing, right? But I'm very, very excited about it. So, everybody, my serrano chilies, my red onions, my green bell pepper. Last but not least, let's go get my scallion whites. Guess what? Scallion. I love scallions. I love alliums. I love scallions to death. Probably one of my favorite vegetables. I have these leftover scallions. We're going to also add them into the Seco de Pollo. Is this traditional in a Seco de Pollo? Not exactly. Is it going to be delicious? Absolutely it will be. Okay? It's an onion, effectively. It's an allium. You can't go wrong, guys, with scallions. You can't go wrong with alliums. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking it, I'm slicing it lengthwise like this. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice small dice on it after I cut it up one more time. Right, just take it and basically just processing it up into slightly flatter chunks. A meal that is made on national days is locro, if you can do it next time. So Angel G, the next stream is going to be in a few weeks because we'll be going on hiatus. Normally, we're every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We're going to be moving to a new place, a new location, a new kitchen. Tell me what locro is. I don't know what locro is. I would love to know about it. I love Latin American food. Maybe my favorite region, like just general, like global region. I love the flavors. I love chilies. I love fresh cilantro. I love fresh herbs. I love Plátanos. Argentinian cuisine is basically borrowed things from Italian and Spanish cuisine. So decimal ba. I will say this. That is my understanding that is mostly just like the more modern Argentinian cuisine. The way that I consider all Latin American cooking to be is some sort of a mix between you have your pre-colonial indigenous cuisines, very regional based on the kind of agriculture and climate that you have in the area because South America is so varied in its geography and climate. And then you have different immigrant influences, specifically in Cuba, for instance, as well as in Peruvian food, you have a very, very huge Chinese influence. In Mexico, especially as well as Argentina, you have a very big Italian influence as well. And then, of course, with South America, you have a very, very huge Spanish presence. In Brazil, you have a very huge Portuguese presence. So I feel like saying it's just Italian and Argentinian things borrowed is a little bit of a disservice. Granted, you would know a little bit more about this than I do, but I'm more so just applying like, that's what people say about like Mexican food, right? And Mexican food is very, very like that mix between like the colonizer food and then the indigenous cuisine. So, whoop, okay, I spilled a bunch of vegetables. I don't understand anything you say. My English is very bad, sorry. Angel G, I am sorry. I talk a little bit fast. I could try to slow down a little bit. I normally talk very fast. Also, we have all the Vashites coming in. Hello, it's lovely to have you. Welcome on in. We just finished making the Sofrito for today. Everybody, welcome on in. Everybody that's just joining us, I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, please, and thank you. This is going to be the last stream before we go on a hiatus. I'm going to be moving to a new kitchen, so if you haven't already joined my Discord, please go ahead and do so. Jazor, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. That's very, very sweet of you. Okay, so we have a lot of people coming on in. It's good to have all of you. Okay. This is my sofrito for today. This is the sofrito for my Seco de Pollo. I'm going to be going ahead and putting this behind me now. Everybody, we're making a beautiful Ecuadorian stew today. Okay? This is the new channel. If you aren't already following Daramgar TV, please go ahead and do so. We're making Seco de Pollo. Seco de Pollo is a Latin American chicken stew. This specific version is Ecuadorian. It's based on a citrus juice. Traditionally, you would use naranja. In my case, I'm just using some freshly squeezed orange juice, as well as some beer. It's going to have some pimento. It's going to have some cumin. It's going to have some oregano inside of it as well. The sofrito we just made with bell pepper, chilies, onions, and a little bit of scallion as well. We have a homemade chicken stock going. We'll be frying some plantains today. You can type in exclamation mark menu. It is good to see all of you. Welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. You're very nice. I give to you follow. Thank you, Angel. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. I have no clue who you are, but the energy is sublime, chef. Well, Dugons, this is the best cooking show on Twitch. So please go ahead and follow. Stay along. If you have any cooking questions, please go ahead and ask me. The goal is to teach all of you how to cook at home. The goal is to teach you how to understand things. So please ask me anything that you can think of. Is the new kitchen big nice? Oh yeah, the new kitchen, it's quite nice. And I also have a backyard. I'm gonna have a backyard in New York City. Never thought that I would be capable of such a thing, and yet, here I am. I'm gonna have a backyard in New York. I'm gonna be grilling at some point too, which I'm super excited about. Do some open fire cooking, which, oh, I never thought that I would really have the chance to do. This is a carbon steel knife. I have to go ahead and wipe it off. Is there a good cooking Discord I can join if I'm under 18? Your Discord is 18 plus only. Max, buddy, I'm afraid that I don't really have an answer for you in that case. If you're under 18, I would just say wait, and then you can go ahead and join the Discord. I just don't feel comfortable creating a space like a Discord that would include minors. Make sure to buy nice spices. They can be an upfront cost, but they last so long. Well, Nebula Space, don't worry. We buy very nice spices here. So, Max Buddy, I do apologize at the moment. It is just like a lot of responsibility that I don't quite think I'm qualified to take on at the moment. I would need a lot of moderation and supervision for something like that. Okay, so my vegetables are done. My chicken broth is currently going. We have a little bit more that we need to do. We have to juice the oranges themselves. We have to go ahead and do the garlic for today. We have to chop up the tomatoes. So we still have some prep coming up ahead of us. Let's go ahead and continue with that now. Oh, that is the wrong camera shot. That is the wrong camera angle. Please forgive me. I feel like this light has gotten so dim and I don't know why. Okay, let's go ahead and get my lovely vine tomatoes out. So, everybody, these tomatoes, these will go into the Seco de Pollo today. Is there a good online site to buy spices from? I just get them from the supermarket, but I don't know if these are the best. So, Fat, my answer for you is I would go specifically to South Asian grocery stores. South Asian grocery stores, they have the best variety and you can buy whole spices and it's the cheapest. I find that Western supermarkets have very overpriced spices in small little jars and it's usually really pre-ground stuff. The best way to get whole, beautiful quality spices from all the way around the world, South Asian grocery stores. South Asian grocery stores. But guys, I'm telling you, you have no idea how much Stop and Shop is scamming you. Organic McCormick spices, and you're buying a little thing of oregano for $6. Go to a South Asian grocery store. Go to a Latin American grocery store. Those will always be my best recommendations. You will get a bigger variety of spices, and you will get them at a better quality and cheaper. There is no reason not to do it. Except they don't come in convenient little containers. Oh, woe is me. Terrible. So, everybody, I have some lovely vine tomatoes. We're going to be getting rid of the core out of these tomatoes because the core of it tends to be really woody. So, take each of your lovely tomatoes, slice them in half. I would recommend only using something like vine or plum tomatoes. I wouldn't use beefsteak tomatoes because they're super wet. Okay, generally speaking, the smaller the tomato, the more flesh it has, and the bigger the tomato, the more water content it has. Okay, so everybody, but it's just like a nice general rule of thumb. Go ahead, nice sharp knife. Once the tomato is halved, diagonal incision, pop it out. Diagonal incision, pop it out. Diagonal incision, and pop it out, my friends. And go ahead and repeat with each of your tomato halves to get rid of the core. Nice and easy, beautiful, nice and simple. We're just doing all of our prep, then we'll be searing off the chicken. We'll be doing the spice blend for today as well. Everything is going to come out and everything is going to be delicious by the end of it. Okay? So, there you go. Let's go ahead now and get these guys into a very nice small dice. The goal of these tomatoes is for it to basically melt in, but now I'm actually considering, what if we just blend it instead? Traditionally, you would do a very small dice on this, but honestly, I think that's going to be a little bit more effort than it's actually worth. I think I would rather just puree it so that it's a very nice, homogeneous, smooth texture. What are my thoughts on Marco Pure White? So Decimal Bar, I feel like he is the poster child of a corporate sellout right? He was a 3 Michelin star chef in the UK, and then he took a bunch of sponsorships from a bunch of different brands. I will say though, I recently saw his tomato sauce video, and it was actually quite good. It was like a good video. It was like genuinely really, really well made. So that was the opinion I used to hold when he did the Nori videos. But I saw that video and I was actually kind of impressed. Okay, everybody, I have decided ultimately that I'm gonna be blending these tomatoes and not cutting them up. I want it to be nice and smooth. The tomatoes are not really gonna saute. I really just want this to break down into the sauce and build the sauce. Is this super traditional for how people do a seco de pollo? Not necessarily. Is it still gonna be delicious? Everybody, we don't make bad food here. Can I please get a yes chef from everybody watching, please? And thank you. So again, blending it whole, we'll get all the seeds, we'll get all of the skins broken down. We're not gonna do any of this nonsense with peeling it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly get my beautiful Vitamix all set up and all ready to go for today. Okay, so that's gonna take just 1 second, please and thank you. Get that going, get that set up, and then we will be going ahead and making it happen. Okay. And let me go get my beautiful blender cup out. Everybody, I am so, so lucky that I am a proud owner of a Vitamix now, I have to say. I love my Vitamix. I love this tool. Shout outs to Catherine Queen for sponsoring this Vitamix. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get it out. Let's get this done. Everybody, I have a bunch of little vine tomatoes here, and the only goal now is just to process it and get it broken down. That's right, Luigi, we finally got a Vitamix. So I'm just gonna take all of these bad boys, throw them into this container. Yeah, me too, Rocket Man. That's what I was previously doing up until now. All of my tomatoes are nicely and properly inside. We're going to go ahead and put the lid of it on, and then we will be blending it, my friends. And I want to just get it nice and completely pureed. Okay, I don't want any lumps inside of this. Well, I mean, if you do, it'll still cook down. Dara sold out to Big Vitamix. I didn't sell out. I always wanted to get a Big Vitamix. Okay, set it down. Everybody, let's go ahead and get that cap on to stop it from splashing. I know this isn't necessarily the world's best camera shot on showing what this is like. And we start off on a low speed and then we slowly increment it. If you start off on a high speed, it's just gonna splash and bounce all over the place. So, lowest speed, variable setting, get some of the chunks broken down. Hello? I actually think I'm gonna need my stick tool. I'm gonna need my little tamper thingy to press everything back down because my chunks are actually getting stuck here. So, let's try this again. Let's push everything back down. There you go. There you go. Get that speed slightly increasing as well. And get that last tomato in. Slowly increment it. And just blend it. So, what makes a Vitamix blender so special? Decimal, the answer is purely power and the open top. A Vitamix blender, probably one of the best motors that you can get on a home market. It's strong, it's powerful, it can also blend things that are warm and hot. That's a really, really fantastic thing it can do. Okay, and then I'll go into the second thing in a second. Let's just get that all blended. Let's get it blended, let's get it blended. And everybody, I think that should be perfect. The seeds are broken down, the skins are broken down. The second thing is it's an open top blender. The reason open top blenders are so amazing is because if you're blending something hot, it lets the steam escape. Okay, that is different from something like a NutriBullet because everything in there is like locked in. You can't blend anything hot. This is not sponsored. I just really like my Vitamix, okay? I really, really, really like my Vitamix. I love my Vitamix even. Me with like money spilling out of my pockets. Oh, I love my Vitamix. It saved my marriage. My wife came back to me. My kids speak to me again. It's all okay. I love this thing. Guys, we'll never take a sponsorship. Never. This stream is all about teaching you how to cook at home and me advertising equipment that I actually like. I have no profit incentive here, and I never will. I will never take advantage of the trust that you have in me. Okay? So I should probably clean the blender now. We're gonna get this stuff out into a separate little container, everybody. And the best time to clean a blender is just as soon as after you do it. Because if you let that blender sit, everybody, the tomatoes are gonna dry. The tomatoes are gonna stick to the blade. It's gonna stick to the blender cup itself. So get it out of the blender, and the best time to clean is yesterday. Again and again, I will continue saying this to all of you. It is so, so, so important that you do, okay? So, gonna go get this thing into the sink. Gonna go get this bad boy out here. And let's go get all of my beautiful tomato puree just poured inside. Excellent. And this is all going to be used towards the Seco de Pollo. We've basically made a pasada, except we haven't really strained out any of the seeds or nothing, and that's okay. And everybody, really quickly, I'm going to be washing out my blender now. Have some bits, nebulous space. How many bits did that cost? Did I not modify the cost of that? I think I might have modified the cost of it. I don't know how many bits you spent on that just now. So, everybody, really quickly, I'm going to first start by rinsing it out. Get some of the solids off. Get some of the solids off and just pour that out. And then the easiest way to clean it, super simple. Put in a little bit of soap. Get some nice warm water in there. Fill it up halfway. And then we blend it to go ahead and finish it. Oh, just $1's worth of bits? I see. I thought I put a little bit more than that as the cost. I forgot what I put the cost is. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and just cap this off for us one more time. And I'll just be setting up the blender and cleaning it up this way. Everybody, again, the best time to clean your blender is yesterday. Do it now. Do it now before it dries off. Resist the urge to walk away. Don't put it into the sink. Don't even leave it soaking. Your food will stick to the blade itself. Trust me when I tell you this, everybody. Trust me, I will never, ever lead any of you astray. Okay? Blender plugged in. Where's my little cap? There she is. Blending the soap, does this hurt the soap? Somewhat. Whoa, I started off on the maximum speed when you're just supposed to work it up slowly. And just let it go for 20 seconds. And it'll take care of itself. It's so easy, it's so simple. Clean that thing now. By blending the soap, my friends, the soap just gets in there under the blade. Normally, getting to the blade itself, getting in there is super difficult. You have to really maneuver yourself. Let the blender do the work. When it's wet, before it has dried, that's all the cleaning it needs. That is just how simple it is. Everybody, it takes care of itself. I don't care what blender you have. This applies to any blender. I will give you this advice for every single blender, my friends. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a second just to rinse everything off. I'm going to go get the soap of it off and let it go drying. I know I'm doing this live on camera, but guess what? This is a home cooking show above all else. This is not, as much as I would like it to be one day, this is not a professional studio. I'm making home cooking and I'm teaching you guys how to cook at home. It would be disingenuous for me just to say, oh, clean this when you can, and for me to keep it going, and it'll also be awful for me and leave me with a big mess. So guys, clean as you go. That's why I'm doing this live. That's why I'm doing this now. I'm just showing you the process. Rinse it out. Rinse out all of that soapy water. Get it out of that blender cup. And then leave it to dry. There you go. A little bit more soap on the edges. Excellent. And nice and clean. Not even a residual scent of tomatoes. How can the mic work from anywhere but it doesn't pick up the blender? So Nuzzle, I have a lavalier. And the way that lavalier mics work is that they immediately take mic sound from the surrounding, okay? And then, you know, it tends to not pick up other noises as much. What would I call my show if I had one? Oh, I don't know yet. This is a cooking show, though, World Builders Haven, isn't it? This is a cooking show. That's what I'm trying to do. That's the ultimate plan in a few years. I want to have the best home cooking show out there. I want to teach you guys techniques. I want to teach you all theory. I want to show you how to make something really, really special happen. Okay, so rinsing all of that stuff off. Excellent, got all those tomatoes out of there. Okay, excellent. What do I think about the thermo mix, Count JP? I think it's a little cool, but it might be a little too niche. As cool and cute as I thought it would be, and it's like really, really popular in Europe and all that, I think its use application is not big enough for somebody like me. Okay? So, everybody, little recap session. Let's talk about everything that we've already accomplished so far. So at the moment, in my pressure cooker, I have a chicken stock going. We made this lovely puree of all of my tomatoes. Okay, this is going to be the base of the Seco de Pollo. Then we also have all of this onion, bell pepper, scallion, and chilies. This is the Sofrito for today. It's going to be a lot of amazing flavor going inside. The next thing that we have to go ahead and do is juice and zest some oranges. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a nice little microplane. We're going to zest these oranges because everybody, the majority of the aroma of the orange comes with its skin. The majority of the flavor is in the skin itself. That is where the aroma of the orange itself is. The juice itself has a bit of sweetness. Have I ever tried Brazilian cooking? I'm Capoeira. We recently did moqueca de camarão. So we did a shrimp moqueca. Have I ever eaten chicken hearts? I absolutely have. So the zest itself, is this traditional in a Seco de Pollo? Not necessarily, but I want that extra orange flavor. I want that flavor. I want that love, my friends. I want all of it to be inside of the final product for today. So I'm going to make sure that I have a nice bowl to be putting all of my, excuse me. I almost sneezed. Everybody, once again, nice sharp microplane, although you could also just use a vegetable peeler and chop it up. You just want the orange skin itself, my friends. You don't want to get any of the bitter white part of the orange. Just the skin. The skin is where the aroma is. The skin is where the flavor is. The skin is what makes it really, really special. You don't want any of the white part of the orange itself, okay? And let's go do the same thing to the second one. Man, you hate zesting? Why do you hate zesting? If you got a nice sharp zester, it's really simple, it's really easy, anybody can do this. Hi from Japan, well Creed, welcome on in, it is lovely to have you. Welcome, welcome to the best cooking show on Twitch, okay? And everybody, once again, a reminder that this is the last stream before we go on hiatus and before we go into my new living space. So this stream is gonna be the last one for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna miss you all so much. Is this thing actually worth doing? Rocket Man, it absolutely is worth doing. Smell this, just smell this. By itself, this is so aromatic. The orange peel is where the majority of the flavor of the orange is. This is what you want. You absolutely want to zest it if you want to get that kind of flavor inside. So is it worth it? 100% it is. That took no effort at all. Right, nice and simple, nice and easy. I'm gonna rinse out my zester as well. Same principle as before. If you let it dry, it'll stick on. Also, everybody, if you'd like to support the cooking show, exclamation mark Patreon. My goal is to just have all of this independently funded, right? My goal is to be able to do this full-time one day, and that's the best way to support the show. Also, if you would like to become a part of the community, join the Discord. You'll get notifications for whenever we're live. You can interact with the community. Please, please, please join the Discord if you're able to. Okay, so everybody, let's go ahead and juice up these oranges. Would I turn down a chance to do something on MasterChef? The answer is no, World Builders Haven. The answer is because I love attention. Above all else, I really, really love attention. And so I will do anything to get said attention. I might have just cut my finger as soon as I was saying that because I picked my knife up by the blade. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go get a Pokemon Band-Aid. I only buy Pokemon Band-Aids. I do them for my estrogen injections, okay? Ow. All right, everybody, what Pokemon Band-Aid am I thinking of for today? Let's see. Is this a Gengar? No, that's a Wobbuffet. We'll do Wobbuffet. I refused to do my estrogen injections unless I specifically got Pokemon Band-Aids. Okay. My Wobbuffet Band-Aid has been acquired and it's been put on. Lovely. Favorite Pokemon Band-Aid? Oh gosh, I wonder which one it would be. First injury on the job? Yeah, Punish Mage. Actually, it's the first time I've accidentally cut myself in like a year, I have to say. It's been a very, very long time. I'm also cooking food myself, and everything is going to get cooked through, so there's no pathogen chance here. Does chef have finger condoms to keep the Band-Aid clean? Yeah, I could do the thing where you like take like, I'll show you the chef thing to do actually, which is, you know, you would just take like the tip of a latex glove, but I'm just gonna put on my glove. This is a nitrile glove, not a latex glove. Just wanna clarify that. Keep it nice and secure for today. Thoughts on not just putting Band-Aid on things? Durgons, it's just because I don't want anything acidic on there. I'm about to juice some oranges, okay? So, everybody, let's go ahead and grab my oranges. Let's slice them in half. And everybody, as you know, I hate juicing things by hand. It's a lot of effort and it's inefficient. One of my favorite kitchen gadgets, one of my favorite little kitchen tools is my citrus press. You don't put it flesh side up, you put it flesh side down. You tuck it inside, you give it a nice big squeeze, my friends. Squeeze out all, ooh. I might have gotten some amount of orange juice on my wall. Not a lot, but definitely some amount. Today's a day. Today's a day. Everybody, that's one little orange nice and juiced. Let's go ahead and do the next one. I do think the citrus press I have is like a little too small. I do wish it was like a little bit bigger, but let's go in there. This time we're gonna really, really try to gently juice it. Give it a rotation. Really leaving my mark before moving? That's right. Okay, there you go. Get all of that lovely orange juice in here. And let's go ahead and repeat with my last two oranges. These are some nice juicing oranges. Okay, and grab it and squeeze it all the way down, my friends. Squeeze it down, squeeze it down. And let's get a little bit more of that lovely precious juice all the way inside. And this is all gonna result in a very nice, delicious, and flavorful Seco de Pollo. Bye-bye deposit. This is my mom's apartment, so we're fine. I live with my mom at the moment. I don't gotta worry about deposits. I'm kidding. I'm gonna wipe the wall in a second, guys. It's just a little bit of juice. Doesn't hurt anybody, okay? Okay, and there you go. That should now be all of my orange juice. I just think I need a bit of a bigger citrus press. That'll be an investment to make. All of my orange juice, all of my orange zest in there as well. Okay, and I'm gonna just take a second to go ahead and wipe off the wall. The best time to clean it is yesterday, chef. That's, you are correct. Oh gosh, guys, the splash zone of this thing, oh, that was huge. I don't think it's gonna stain, luckily, so it'll be fine. But damn. Oh man, that's not great that I just did that, huh? Okay. I'm not gonna, don't worry. Everybody, don't worry. I got it all cleaned up. I got it all taken care of. You have nothing to worry about. I'm never gonna do anything like that. Okay, so we have the orange nice and juiced. The last thing that we're going to need to do is make my lovely spice blend for today, which is gonna be a mixture of my Mexican oregano, my pimento, and my fresh cumin seeds. And that will go on top of the chicken before it gets cooking, so that we get a really, really nice, proper, beautiful crust on that thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and make that spice blend, my friends. Let's go ahead and set up my little tiny spice blender. Let's go back to the stove. Let's set this up right here. Okay? And this is a kitchen tool that I love dearly. My little spice blender, everybody. This thing is so nice to have. You don't need to wash it. You just got to wipe it out once you're done. This is the best way to get nice, whole, fresh spices into your home kitchen. Everybody, let me tell you something right now. The more that something is ground, the more that it is processed, the less shelf life it ends up having. Specifically with spices, pre-ground spices, they don't have the aroma of whole spices. Whole spices, they can last so much longer. So I have some whole cumin seeds. And when I say some whole cumin seeds, I mean a bunch. Because everybody, I love cumin to death. I can never get enough cumin. And so I'm gonna add in many big pinches inside worth of cumin seeds. All of that goes in. Excellent. Next thing that we're going to need some Mexican oregano. Am I measuring anything? The answer is absolutely not. And guess what? That's okay. That is okay. This is all about home cooking, everybody. We're not going to be overcomplicating anything here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a bunch of Mexican oregano inside. Nice and aromatic, nice and delicious. Let's go get that into my spice blender as well. Beautiful. And so from here on out, some people, they also add in some dried chilies. I'm not going to be doing that for mine today. If I don't want my cumin seeds to be too big, do you just chop them? Samim, they're a little too hard to chop. It would be bad for your knife. So we just do them in the spice grinder, or you can do it in a mortar and pestle. I would not chop them. You will never get them ground up. Everybody, take it, get it in there, and just grind it up. Grind it up, grind it up. Am I going to get another tattoo? Count JP, I plan on getting my forearms completely blacked out. I want to have a beautiful design on my forearms. I want like cracks and tendrils and all of that. Get it in there. Get all of this good stuff nice and ground up, my friends. Until we have no fibers, no leaves remaining. Keep it grinding. Give it a little shake occasionally to just help it out. Grind it, grind it, grind it. And we're almost done, we're almost done, we're almost done. Let's go take a look. A little bit more, actually. Oh, come on. Why is it not going in? There we go. Grind it up. There we go. And with that, I think that is perfect. We have a nice, fresh, delicious spice powder to be putting on top of our chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that in here. And then we can begin cooking. What are the tattoos on my wrists? This is Nanika from Hunter x Hunter. Or Aluka, but that's Nanika's faces. Okay, get all of that stuff dumped out. Give it a little slap, slap it, slap it, slap it around. Show it who's boss. Show it that you're about some business. Okay? And all that you have to go ahead and do is just really, really quickly wipe it out. There's no need to clean. There's no need to wash anything with this, right? It's all like a nice little enclosed system. You're not blending anything wet. It's not going to get contaminated with bacteria. So just wipe it out and into the cupboard it can go. So we are doing so much prep food today. Oh my goodness. This is an aggressive amount of prep. Also, thank you so much, Hex, for the $500 donation. Hexeract, Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have you. This is the last year before the hiatus, and so you are giving this place a proper send-off. I have moving costs coming up soon, so, you know, I'm going to have to, like, buy new kitchen equipment and stuff. That goes a really, really long way. Hexeract, thank you so much. As always, it's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. You're very sweet. Okay, last thing that this spice blend needs, everybody, is going to be some pimento. Hex, you're the best. We have my cumin, my oregano in here. It's going to need some pimento. The pimento I will go super, super light with. The pimento can easily become the most overpowering spice that you have in this. Okay? Also, Count JP, quite clever. That was pretty good. We only need a little bit of pimento, my friends. Trust me, this is the spice that you want to be the most gentle with compared to all the others, okay? So, add that in there. It smells warm. It smells nice and aromatic. Get all of that inside. Beautiful. Cap that off, and then I'll go get my spices nicely and properly put away. And these will be all of the seasonings for my lovely chicken. So just give me a second to go ahead and get that done. Everybody, I do believe we have finished up all of my prep work for today's Seco de Pollo. And then now it is time for us to begin actually cooking down some of these components. Is everybody ready? Does anybody have any questions before we proceed? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef from everybody, please, and thank you. I'm going to go get this cutting board slightly put away somewhere. I have space, please. That would be nice. Okay, and then I'm going to show you my chicken that has been dry brining. Right here. Excellent. And we'll talk about that in just a second as we do preheat the pan. So everybody, for my Seco de Pollo, we're going to be using a nice big Dutch oven. Also, I have never actually had Paraguayan food before, Decimal. Never had it before. Okay, so let's go to the stove really quickly. This is my pride and joy. This is my gorgeous Dutch oven. So everybody, I need your full attention. I'm going to teach you how to use this thing. And I'm going to teach you what people mess up about this thing. This is a Dutch oven. This is a Le Creuset. It is cast iron with a glass enamel inside of it. And that accomplishes two things. It gives it some non-stick properties, and it allows you to cook acidic things or basically anything you want without it rusting. So, everybody listen to me right now. There's a couple of things that we do to make sure it always gets respected. I want you to notice something. I have had this Dutch oven for a while now, and I cook with it often. Do you see how beautiful it is? Do you see how it has no scratches at all? Do you see how perfect and pristine it is? That is what happens when you really gently take care of a Dutch oven. We never blast it with high heat, and we never use metal tools. I'm going to say this again. We never blast it with high heat, and we never use metal tools. This is like a non-stick pan. Metal tools will scratch the enamel. I see professional chefs use metal tools, metal whisks, metal spoons on their enamel Dutch oven all the time, especially when they're on a studio set. Everybody, guess what? I'm going to tell you something right now. Just because a professional does something, I'm going to say this again and again. Just because somebody who is a professional does something doesn't mean that it's true. Just because they say something, it doesn't mean that it's true. All that a professional is somebody that gets paid to do something. But I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you. I need you to listen to me now. No metal tools. Second of all, we only do medium to low heat. I'm going to explain to you why. This is cast iron. It's thick, thick, thick metal. If you were to go ahead, bug on the counter off to the right. What do you mean there's a bug on the counter? I don't think that's a bug. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think there's a bug. Anyways, so everybody, you completely broke my train of thought here. Medium low heat, because that is how we avoid hot spots and cool spots. Medium low heat. Hello, there you go. Medium low heat, medium low heat. No high heat, because if you do a high heat, you will, one, damage the enamel, two, you will develop a bunch of hot spots and cool spots. The same principle applies to cast iron and carbon steel. If you heat it up slowly, you will have a nice, beautiful, even cooking surface. If you heat it up fast and hot, you will have hot spots and cool spots, and you will have stickage. Everybody, do we want the chicken to stick to the pan? Is that what we're looking for? I'm going to say no. So, medium-low heat, and we will go in, not traditional choice of oil here that I'm using, by the way. Normally, you would use achiote oil, which is like an annatto seed oil. I don't have access to that. I'm going to be using a little bit of olive oil. Olive oil is used all the time in Latin American cuisine because of the Italian and Spanish influence. So a little bit of olive oil is going to go inside. The chicken is going to release its own fat. This is purely to lubricate it, to stop it from sticking, and you don't want to preheat an enamel Dutch oven empty. Same way that you don't want to preheat a nonstick pan empty. It's bad for the pan. You only want to heat it up with either water or oil inside. So olive oil goes in. Everybody heating it up slowly. Heating it up slowly, slowly, slowly on a nice medium-low for 5-6 minutes. That way, the pan will be perfectly heated and nothing is going to stick. Everybody, how many times have you heard somebody say, oh, if your food is sticking, the pan is not hot enough? Absolute nonsense. They say, heat up a stainless steel pan and drop some water in it, and if it dances around, it's ready. Absolutely not. The light and frost effect actually doesn't have that much to do with food sticking. If your pan is too cold, your food will stick. And if you heat it up unevenly, you will have cold spots. So what does Latin American recipes have to do with Italian food? Count JP, very, very huge Italian influence and Italian immigrant presence in a lot of Latin American countries. Okay? It really, really shaped the cuisine. You have a lot of fideo, you have a lot of spaghetti as well in food as a result. A lot of olive oil as well. Okay, so that is how we avoid stickage. You're going to see that when we cook this chicken, guys, it's not going to stick. It's not going to stick even a little bit. It'll be perfect. So slowly heat it up. Slowly heat it up. Okay, next. We have this chicken that has been dry brining. Again, what is dry brining? Dry brining is the process of treating it with some salt to help it get nice and seasoned through to increase its moisture retention. So the salt penetrates it and it holds on to a little bit more moisture as it cooks. I didn't get to dry brine this nearly as long as I would have liked, but it would be ideal for you to do it longer. Is it okay to use butter for an onion and garlic sofrito base? So decimal bar, that is only if you do high heat cooking for too long. If your pan is too hot, your butter will brown and burn because of the milk solids inside of it. So the answer is for meat searing, because this generally happens on a higher temperature, don't use butter. For onions and garlic and vegetables, absolutely butter is okay. So my pan is slowly heating up. My olive oil is slowly heating up. I'm going to put on a couple of gloves. And now everybody, come take a look. Notice something for me. I want you to notice that the chicken is a little bit wet. It's a little glistening. If this is wet and it goes onto the hot pan, it's not going to get a nice, beautiful brown crust on it. We'll just end up with chicken that is leaking a bunch of liquid, and the oil will splash all over the place. By patting the water out, we're going to reduce the chance of it from sticking. We're going to reduce the amount that it actually ends up splashing as well. So pat it dry and be thorough. Be super, super thorough. Make sure that there's no wet spots whatsoever on this piece of chicken. And trust me, it makes the world of a difference. The goal, by the way, is not to get the chicken cooked through in this first stage. The goal is to get some caramelization on it. The goal is to get the chicken nice and browned. The goal is for that fond to develop, the dissolved proteins on the side. If you've ever heard the phrase fond before, it refers to the proteins that have leached out of the water from the chicken and then have, as the water evaporated, stuck to the bottom of the pan. The goal is to develop that fond, my friends, and to develop it really, really gently. Okay? And that is going to provide a lot of flavor for today's Seco de Pollo. So, patting it dry, patting it dry, patting it dry. Today's going to be a long stream. We're in it for the long haul today. And guess what? That's okay. How do I know all of this about cooking? Rocket Man, I have been cooking for a very long time. I've been cooking for 17 years. I'm here to debunk cooking myths. I'm here to teach you cooking theory and information. So, how do I know all of this? The answer is a lot of time and a lot of trying my hand at it. Chef, washing versus not washing chicken, your thoughts? So Godzillas, I have an answer for you. And there's a couple of sides here and a couple of schools of thought I want to debunk. So, people say that washing chicken, they refer to like grocery store bought chicken, it somehow gets rid of the bacteria. The answer, it does not. It doesn't actually get rid of the bacteria. This idea of it spreading bacteria to your sink, it's not that big of a deal. The answer is it's mostly unnecessary. However, you need to understand why people wash chicken. Typically speaking, in a lot of different countries, let's say that we are in a place like Haiti. Let's say that we are in a place like Mexico. Oftentimes, the chickens that you buy have been really, really freshly slaughtered. Sometimes they would have little bits of feathers. Sometimes they would have bloodlines still attached to them. Sometimes they just wouldn't have all of the stuff in that butchering process cleaned off of them. If you're buying grocery store packed chicken, you don't need to wash it. If you're getting something that is freshly slaughtered, then sometimes you would need to wash. There's physical particles on there that you would need to wash off. That can sometimes give a bit of an off flavor. So the answer is, you don't need to wash chicken if you're buying it from a grocery store. Absolutely not. If there is an unusual meat you could try, what would it be? Count JP, I've tried just about every single existing quote-unquote unusual meat. Okay. So, my chicken has been nicely and beautifully patted dry. The one thing I want to do now, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle my lovely spice mixture onto the chicken itself. Okay? Because the goal is for these spices to not really be in the stew. The goal is for the spices to more so just be on top of the chicken itself, okay? So, we don't rub it in, we don't pat it in. Well, we will pat it in. We just want to go ahead and just sprinkle it up. Nice and up high, my friends. Nice and up high so that it covers it evenly. Nice and high up, nice and high up, nice and high up, just like this. Nice and high up, nice and high up. Beautiful. And then we'll be seasoning up the other side of it as well. Nice and high up. My pan has been heating up slowly. My olive oil is slowly but surely getting hot. I'm going to rotate the Dutch oven. Maybe a little excessive, but it's all in the interests of making sure that it heats up evenly. Human meat? Oh yeah, I would love to try human meat. It is my understanding that it's often described being like closest to veal. Okay? Not the Salt Bay technique. He did not pioneer seasoning something from up high. Oh no. Terrible thing that you've just said to me, Godzillas. Awful. But nice and high up. Nice and high up. In fact, I could probably just do it like this at this point, because it's so little of it is actually left in the container itself. Let's get all of the spices onto my chicken. and just pat it in. If you roll it around, you will ball it up into like these little wet clumps. You just want to pat it in just to make sure that it's like really, really stuck to each piece of chicken. Very lightly seasoned, relatively speaking. Okay, everybody, now it is time for us to sear the chicken. Now it's going to be time for us to brown the chicken, get a nice, beautiful crust on it, and get that fond developing. Okay? So, let's go to the stove. Let's go ahead and get these chicken pieces on. The goal is to not cook the chicken through. The chicken will still stew. Don't worry about that. Right now, all that I really want to accomplish is getting that crust developed. So swish that oil in, lay in the chicken. Nice medium, low heat, everybody. We need to render the fat out. We're gonna get all of that beautiful chicken fat inside of our final product. Nothing is gonna be sticking. Everything is gonna come out perfectly. Make sure that your pan is not overcrowded so it doesn't develop too much steam or anything. Okay? And as you can see, my pieces of meat just slide around. Beautiful. Nice and slowly does it, everybody. Get that chicken onto the pan. Gorgeous. Get it happening. Get it cooking. We're going to develop that crust. We're going to get it nice and golden. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be beautiful by the end of it. I feel like it's a lot dimmer than usual in here. Or am I just insane? I might also just be a little tiny bit insane. It's sizzling. It's going to brown up. And everybody, here's another really, really important piece of advice. If it does stick, let it go for a little bit. It will naturally unstick from the pan. You just need to give it a little bit of time. But right now, my friends, take a look. Look, skin on chicken, and it's sliding around the pan like nothing. There is no sticking. This is why I teach you my methods. This is why I teach you my techniques, everybody. No sticking whatsoever. Nothing but beautiful chicken just slowly but surely cooking away, even on a medium-low heat. Even on a medium-low heat, the chicken does not stick. This idea of, oh, it needs to be at a high heat. Complete nonsense. It does not need to be. Nothing is sticking. The goal now is just to get everything nice and browned. Now, because of the fact that it's not sticking, we're actually going to be rotating the chicken. By rotating it, we get to cover up the spots that don't have any meat on it at the moment. We get to let the cooler spots heat back up, and we get to build a more even crust onto the meat itself. So by going in here, giving this bad boy a little rotation, go into the previous blind spots and give everything a little spin around, my friends. Sear that chicken. Sear that chicken, sear it up, let it go, let it do its thing for a little bit. After this, we got to cook the vegetables. We'll show you the chicken stock as it's ready. I'm going to release the pressure on my lovely chicken stock, and I will show you how gorgeous my chicken stock is. My homemade chicken stock, golden and delicious, exactly what you want, my friends. Okay, so because we have a second of time, I can go ahead and put away a couple of things. I can clean up a couple of things that I'm no longer using. For example, my citrus, I just caught my microphone onto the cabinet. I'm just going to take a second to clean up a few things, my friends. As the chicken is searing, as it's going, we can probably just give it another nice little rotation, cover up again any of the past blind spots, get back in there, spin everything around, get it all cooking evenly. Look at that chicken, my friends. Gas, electric, or induction stove. Count JP, I'll always love a gas stove. I like seeing the size of the flame. I like being able to control it that way. Induction is probably the best in terms of energy consumption and like, you know, just like sustainability reasons. And then also its heat output is amazing. So induction is probably the future. In the meantime, gas is what I'm using, and gas is what I love. Sorry, liberals. You can't take my gas stove away from me. Only my cold, dead body. So I'm just washing off my citrus press just because, hey, I have a second to go ahead and do so. I have a second just to go ahead and get that done. Let me go ahead and get that done now. This is called passive time. When you're cooking, you will have active time and passive time. When something is cooking and you can step away from it for a second, use that as the time to clean. Don't save it all for later. Use this as the time to clean. And now, my friends, we can go inspect the chicken. See how it's doing. Look at that gorgeous crust. Look at that gorgeous crust. Look at that gorgeous crust. Nice and golden, nice and crispy, and absolutely no stickage. Isn't that amazing? That applies to cast iron, enameled cast iron, stainless steel, all of my fundamentals. Heat it slow. Heat it slow. How long do whole spices last? I don't know. Sorry, Red Sock Panda. The answer is a long time. The answer is long enough. So I apologize if I was not able to give you a better answer at this point in time, at this juncture. I don't really know. Yeah, induction stoves, they can get water boiling fast. Okay, everybody, once again, rotate it. Look at the blind spots. Look at the empty spots. Position food in the blind spots that were previously vacant. Okay? Get it in there. That, again, we will really evenly develop that crust on the chicken. We'll get it nice and golden. We'll get it nice and beautiful. It'll be fantastic. It'll be really, really special. It'll be really lovely. Okie dokie. There's another thing I could probably wash up in the meantime. This is going to be a long stream, everybody. This is a bit of a sad one. This is the last time I'm doing a cooking show in this kitchen. This is the last time I'm doing a cooking show in this kitchen. I'm really, really, not sad. It's a little bittersweet. We have done so many things here. This was the start of the Dry Cooking Show. We have a very bright future coming up ahead of us, and I'm just intent on continuing to pursue it in any way possible. I'm going ahead and I'm washing up a couple more dishes just because we have a chance, we have a moment to be able to do so. Keep your station clean. Keep everything nice and clean, my friends. Excellent. I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah, I'm going to be getting a new kitchen. I'm moving out soon. I'm going to be moving out into my own place with my lovely roommate. And we're going to have a new kitchen. It's going to be a new setup. This will be the first time I'm living by myself, period, to begin with. I mean, I moved out very briefly when I was in college. So, I don't know. Very, very weird point in my life at the moment. But yeah, we're going to be going on hiatus. Guys, join the Discord. Join me. Follow me on Twitter. Daramgar on Twitter. Please, 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 if you just want to stay in the loop, if you want to stay updated with everything, come take a look at my beautiful chicken. Look, again, there is no sticking. There's not even a drop of stickage, my friends. That is the magic of this. That is genuinely, genuinely magical. Nothing is sticking if you properly preheated everything slowly. That is how you can get perfect cooking, perfect searing. No need to scrape anything off. No need to do anything so aggressive, everybody. Trust the process. Trust the process. It'll all go great. Okay? So, I'm going to have a little sip of water. Oh yeah, Serena, absolutely. I'll be buying a new kitchen island and stuff. Get back in there, rotate that chicken. We'll inspect how the crust is doing. We'll take a little look at it. It's still getting nice and golden on that other side. Everybody, patience. Time is key for something like this, huh? We're releasing all of that gorgeous chicken fat to go back into the rest of the vegetables, to go right back into the Seco de Pollo. Durgons, that's for me to know and for you to never find out. Hope this helps. Okay. Yeah. So just letting it go, letting it do its own thing, letting the chicken go a little bit longer, then we'll add in the vegetables. Everybody, the reason we do this order of operations. So let's talk about this really quickly. For those of you that might be a little bit newer to cooking, or for those of you that might have been cooking a while, you might not actually understand why we're doing things in this order. Well, let me explain it to you this way. Why do we do the chicken first and then the vegetables? The chicken will add some fat into the pan itself. The chicken has its own fat, especially in the legs, especially in the thighs. All of that chicken fat comes out and it lets us cook the vegetables in said fat. Okay, second of all, the vegetables, they almost take away the fat itself. The vegetables, they release a bunch of sugar. They make the bottom of the pan sticky. The pan burns a lot easier. The vegetables introduce a lot of moisture. And they take away fat because of all of the surface area of the vegetables. They basically pick up the fat with them. So, we cook the chicken first to release its fat, to get a little bit more through the vegetables, and then we do the vegetables afterwards. The order of it genuinely matters. And the water that the vegetables will release will deglaze the bottom of the pan. As you cook meat, you develop what is called fond. Fond, again, as the meat cooks, it releases liquid. In that liquid is a bunch of little dissolved proteins. As the water evaporates, the proteins stick to the bottom. Now, you could accidentally burn the fond, but if you properly deglaze it, if you properly dissolve it back into something else, it provides a lot of excellent flavor into your final product. So, I'm going to say for my purposes today, this is done. It's going to go back onto the same contaminated sheet tray, and that's okay. That is totally all right, because it's going to get cooked again. The chicken is not fully cooked through. I just wanted to get a nice crust. Okay? So, out Mr. Chicken goes, back onto the sheet tray. It's still raw on the inside, and that is okay, everybody. That is 100% absolutely okay. Come back here. Thank you very much. It's stuck to the sides of the pan. Just make sure that you don't have food on the sides of the pan, right? That is where it is driest. That is where it'll stick the most. Take a look. All of that is my olive oil plus my chicken fat. I'm going to just take it and redistribute it. See how much we have in here. I think we could use a splash of extra fat. I'm going to do another splash of extra olive oil in here. And now we will be frying up my sofrito, my friends. So we lost a little bit of heat. We'll gain it back on up. But in goes, in just a second of time, this is going to be my contaminated little dish. Everybody, in goes my vegetables. The goal is to get them really, really nice and golden and beautiful. We're not sweating them. We're going to be frying these vegetables. So add the vegetables, add them in, add them all in, add them up, add them in, add them in. Add every single last drop and mix it in, my friends. So, I need you all to understand something. These vegetables do not brown immediately. I need to hear another yes, chef. I need to hear another yes, chef, please and thank you. Listen, to get really good golden brown vegetables, you need to cook this in 3 stages. First, you collapse it. The vegetables release all of their water. Second stage, you evaporate the liquid. Third stage, once the liquid is evaporated, can it actually fry? Do not trust any recipe that ever tells you, oh, just cook, just saute it for 2 minutes. It accomplishes nothing. If the goal is to develop serious, meaningful browning, it takes time because you have to first collapse the vegetables. Everybody, you can tell how wet the vegetables are. The sizzling, listen. The sizzling is dying out. The vegetables are releasing their own water. Take the water of the vegetables and scrape up anything that is stuck to the bottom of the pan. We're almost using the liquid of the vegetables to deglaze this pan right now. And we're spreading all of those dissolved proteins and all of those little spices that were stuck on the bottom back through the vegetables. We're going to go ahead and heavily season this with salt. The salt is going to pull out some of the water, and it's also going to make sure that the veggies are nice and seasoned. This is still a medium-low heater, so rocket man. Bunch of salt goes in. Bunch of salt goes in. Season this in layers, and everything is going to come out beautiful and nice and seasoned and nice and delicious. And listen to how the pan died. The vegetables release moisture. Give it time. Also, the food that we make on stream just is food for the next few days. It's for my mother and I. So it absolutely all gets eaten by the end of it. So take it and mix it through. Take it and mix it through. And really important, you see how I have vegetables stuck to the side of the pan? You don't want that. Those vegetables will stick and they will burn. You don't want anything stuck to the sides of your pan, everybody. Get it all back in there. Make sure it's all a part of the show. Spread it out nice and flat. And let it do its thing for a little bit. Just let it go. The sizzling has died down. It is now cooking in its own liquid. Right? It takes time. Everybody, learn patience in a kitchen. You could theoretically just throw everything in and let it stew and it would still taste okay. But if you want meaningful depth, if you want food with complexity, if you want food with flavor and aroma, give it the time and the respect that she deserves, everybody. So, my chicken stock is done, my chicken is seared, my vegetables are cooking along, my tomatoes are blended, my spice mix is also done. We have to make the plátanos. We also have to make the rice dish for today, everybody. Everything is going to come out. Everything is going to be so lovely. It's going to be so wonderful. Okay? I'm really excited about this today. I've never made Seco de Pollo. I've never eaten Seco de Pollo before. This was the recommendation of one of my lovely fans when I ran into them in person at a bar. And so that's what we're doing today. So keep those vegetables nicely and beautifully cooking. Keep it cooking, keep it coming along, and let it go, and let it do its own thing. We don't have a crazy amount of stuff to do. We did a lot of the prep now. I will be taking out the chicken stock and showing you how that looks in just a moment. The other little bit of prep that we need to do, my friends, is get the garlic ready. The garlic doesn't go in with the rest of the vegetables because the garlic has the biggest tendency to burn. And it would not be Latin American cooking without a bunch of garlic. I love garlic to death, and so should you. Okay, so when I say a lot of garlic, I mean we're going into the realm of 5 cloves, 6 cloves, something like that. There you go. Big old cloves of garlic, my friends, because guess what? I want my Seco de Pollo to be flavorful. I want it to be really aromatic and really delicious. So let's go ahead and take our bench scraper and flatten it so that we can go ahead and peel these bad boys up. Take it and flatten it. Take it and flatten it, my friends. Take it and what do? Flatten it. Even if it's not a Friday, we flatten it. Take it and flatten it. And now let's go ahead and peel up each of my little guys. Now that we have flattened them, there you go. You put garlic in your water count, JP. Well, I'm very proud of you. That is just like a new type of guy that you've invented. A guy that's just like, oh yeah, I like garlic, that he just treats it like lemon and cucumbers and water. Okay? And now that you've smashed it, look how easy it is just to peel everything up. Right? Super simple, super easy. Get that garlic peeled, everybody. Get it peeled. Get it peeled. Get it done. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Awesome. Now the only other thing that we really need to do is if we have any dried off or slightly molded ends, just slice those off. Slice the bottoms, chop off the bottoms, slice it off, get them all out of here. Until we are left with nothing but beautiful fresh garlic. So everybody, as you may know, I hate chopping garlic. I think chopping garlic is an absolute headache. I think it's an absolute waste of time. It's sticky, it gets all over the place, and you're not able to get an even consistent chop on it. So the one technique I don't want you to do, you know how cooks lately, they've said, oh, you can put salt on it and smush it. They say, oh, take your knife and do a rock chop and grind your knife into the wood and dull your knife. Don't do it. Absolute nonsense, all of it. Everybody, I'm going to be busting out my favorite little tool, the handy dandy little garlic press. And he is going to do all this work for us. I love the garlic press. People have called him a unitasker. And yeah, he's a unitasker. But guess what? He does this job exceptionally, exceptionally well. Nobody does as good of a job quite like the garlic press does. So get it in there. And just break it down. And squeeze all of my lovely little cloves all the way through. Beautiful. Couple more cloves and then we'll be done with it. How do you clean this tool? Really good question, Rocket Man. Running water and a little kitchen brush. I have a brush that I use for my dishes, and you just do that to poke through the holes, and nice and easy. Just get those chunks out. Same idea as a zester. Same idea as a blender. Clean it when it is wet. Not a metal brush. It's just like a little, it just has some little brush tips, and it fits right in. Take a look. All of my garlic, nice and pressed. I'm going to show you guys this. Just the stove in the meantime, and I'm just going to poke it with a little brush. Poke it so that nothing stays in there, so that nothing is dried in there. Poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it, over and over. Poke the holes. Get in there. Get the job done. Nice and easy. And I could put soap on it, but I'm just going to throw mine to the dishwasher, just because I'm a little lazy at the moment. You could do a stink spray with high enough water pressure. That is true, Trash Can Cat Mom. Okay, everybody, you can listen to the sound. Listen, listen. We're getting back finally to a sizzle. The vegetables are finally sautéing. This is my bell pepper, my serrano chili, my red onion, my scallion whites, okay? And this is the sofrito base. This is what's going to go ahead and make my Seco de Pollo really, really nice and delicious. Scrape off the bottom. Make sure nothing is stuck to the sides. Now that we've evaporated the liquid, now it's sautéing. Now you can hear the sizzle. This is how long it takes to properly develop good browning, my friends. This is the time and the effort and the love that which is required. This is not a process that you can rush. If you rush it, you won't have as much of a complex flavor. Be my guest if you want to rush it. But if you want really beautifully golden brown vegetables that get nice and soft and melt into the Seco de Pollo and add in so much flavor, nice, slowly fry it, my friends. Because here's the thing, if you fry this on too high of a heat, what ends up happening instead is you end up burning the outside of the vegetables before you can fully caramelize it. You will build the color, you will build it with just some time on your side. Okay? With just a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, you will get there. I've tried to use a garlic press for ginger. It hasn't really worked out for me though. It always felt like the ginger was too fibrous to actually pass through it properly. Have a little notification that I should probably check up on. So please forgive me. Really, really quickly. Okay. Okay, lovely. Everybody, the vegetables are sizzling away. They're getting nice and brown. They're getting nice and beautiful at this stage. Nice and delicious. Everything is getting nice and soft. This is where you build flavor. Everybody, the sautéing stage, it caramelizes the sugars. You're doing, you're undergoing the Maillard reaction. This is where you build a lot of flavor, my friends. This is a necessary step. It's not going to taste the same as though you were just to boil everything. Separately, slowly frying things in the fat. It changes the composition of it. It infuses the fat with all the flavor of your vegetables, and it builds up that delicious golden brown color. It's all going. It's still just doing its thing. We're letting it be nice and patient. We're not rushing this process. Is everybody enjoying the show still? Is everybody still watching along? It's lovely to have all of you. Once we have the chicken itself actually properly stewing, we will be working on the rice. We'll be working on the Plátanos, and then we'll assemble it all, and it will all come out and be so delicious. It'll be so wonderful. I'm really, really excited about it, I have to say. Whew. Oh no, I hear music. Oh no, there is music. It's all happening, Serena. So it's good to have all of you. I'm really happy that I can have you all with me for one last time in this kitchen. Yeah, this is a little bittersweet. Everybody, this is the kitchen that I grew up cooking in. This is the kitchen that I've lived for all of my 21 years of life. This is the kitchen where, when I absolutely sucked, this is the place that I got good. This is a kitchen that I designed for me in a lot of ways. I was the one that decided to put this kitchen island in here. I'm the one that purchased so much of this equipment over the years and growing up in here. And so I'm gonna miss this thing, dude. As annoying as it is to have a small New York apartment kitchen, this place was mine. This place was mine. I've made so many like family parties and dinners in this place. We did all of the kitchen, all the cooking show in here. And this is the last time that we'll see it unless something really goes wrong. That's a little rough. That's a little rough, man. That's a little tough to come to terms with. Oh boy. I'm just gonna go and get my pressure cooker pot out of here. Hopefully show you a little glimpse of my chicken stock as it looks at this present state. So yeah, fairly emotional, I've got to say. Keep it going. Keep it all going, my friends. Keep it all nice and cooking. Make sure, again, no veggies are stuck to the sides of your pan. Get everything that nice, delicious golden brown. This is the basis for a delicious seco de pollo. This is my first stream. Well, total go me. It's good to have you. Chef, opinions on Dungeon Meshi? I've not seen it at all, Rocket Man, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you in the slightest, I'm afraid. Okay, everybody, my vegetables, I'm going to say, have sauteed enough. We've developed that flavor. We've gotten that golden brown color. We've gotten that golden brown taste on it. Let's go ahead and get all of my garlic inside. We don't add the garlic in the beginning because if we did, it would have ended up scorching. So we add the garlic in later. It has a lot more sugar compared to the other vegetables. And now we will still fry it. We will still absolutely toast it. Okay, so get all of that beautiful garlic inside. Nice medium-low heat, everybody, and just mix it in. And this needs about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So get it in there, get the garlic unclumped, get it all spread out alongside the rest of your lovely little vegetables. Get it all in there and get it all frying up alongside them. Okay? And then at the same time, everybody, we're going to do some tomato paste. I love tubes of tomato paste. I don't like cans of tomato paste anymore. This is a very recent thing that has started coming into American supermarkets in the last 5 to 6 years. This was the standard for Europe for them to have their tomato paste in this form. Okay? I really, really like tubes of tomato paste so much more than I do canned tomato paste. It's a lot easier to work with. Everybody, that garlic aroma, it's now hitting the kitchen. It smells wonderful. It smells delicious at the moment, I have to say. Oh, gorgeous. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and go in with the tomato paste because we still want to fry the tomato paste. Before we add the wet ingredients, I want to give my tomato paste a little chance to fry up. I have no idea how much tomato paste I just used. I am not measuring. This is a home cooking show at the end of the day, everybody. So we just go in with whatever feels like the right amount of tomato paste. We still have plenty of fresh tomatoes coming in. So get it in there, get it all mixed up, and fry that tomato paste, everybody. Fry it up, develop that flavor on the tomato paste. Before we deglaze it all with some beer. Keep it going, and don't worry about the cilantro. The cilantro will all be added later on. Yeah, everybody, this is home cooking. This is home food. You don't need to measure things to an exact T unless there's something that can really, really compromise the integrity of a dish. In this case, it's tomato paste. Everybody, I promise you, super micro ratios when you have something as complex as a stew will not be felt. Okay? Trust me on this one. So, look at this gorgeous base of vegetables. Look at it. It's frying along. It looks incredible at the moment. This is exactly the stage that we've wanted to hit. Let's go in with my beer. And also with baking, it also really depends. I'm going to go ahead and gently open that up. Everybody, you need like a cup of beer. I don't know, something like that. Add it in. Add it in. And this is going to deglaze the bottom of the pan. This is going to scrape up anything that could be stuck to the bottom. We've added in the moisture, we've added in the wet component now, and now we can go in with the rest of it, everybody. So, before we add in more liquid, everybody, here's what we do. We scrape the sides, scrape the bottom with a nice wooden spoon. No metal if you're using an enamel Dutch oven. Please say yes, chef. Wooden and silicone only on an enamel Dutch oven. And I'm going in here and I'm really, really making sure that I'm getting every single last little guy all properly scraped off of the sides and into the pan because I want this to all go into my final stew. So, a couple more things. First of all, a packet of sazon, or actually I think I'm going to do a double packet of sazon. Sazon is a very, very common spice mix in Latin America. Why am I using this, despite the fact that I have other spices? It's because I want the annatto seeds. I want the achiote, okay? The achiote, really delicious. It makes everything nice and beautiful and orange. And it stains the whole thing and it gives it a wonderful aroma. This is the best way to get achiote. Everybody sells sazon in every supermarket, even Western supermarkets. They all sell sazon, or at least they should. So add that double packet inside. This is one of the only spice blends that I actually like. Get it inside, get it in there. Next, let's just mix it in. It's going to make everything a really, really nice, beautiful color. We're just evaporating the alcohol now, although you could add in the rest of the ingredients and still evaporate the alcohol and it'd be fine. So get it in there, mix it in, scrape the sides. The color is already looking really, really beautiful. Everybody, in goes my tomato passata, that tomato sauce that we made, that we've blended down together. In it goes, in its entirety, all at once, nice and satisfying. Next addition is going to be my orange juice and my orange zest. All of that goes in. Everybody, we want this liquid to be nice and seasoned. If this liquid is not salty enough, the chicken is going to be cooking in a bunch of unsalted liquid. The chicken itself is going to be bland, and the rest of the stew itself is going to be bland. But we're not done adding things in here quite yet. So the next addition is going to be the chicken stock that we have worked so hard to make, my friends. So I'm going to grab a nice little metal strainer, just like so. And I'm going to be dumping in my delicious homemade chicken stock that you and I, that's us, hi, that we've worked so hard to be able to make together. Whoop, there you go. Thank you very much. Get all of that inside. Get this guy out of here. And mix it all in. And everybody, look at this beautiful pot. This is all going to reduce. This is all going to cook down. This is all going to evaporate and get nice and thick. At the moment, this is way too loose. The goal is to evaporate the liquid, to concentrate everything in the pot itself. We can adjust for seasoning later on. Isn't this going to take a long time? Yes, it will. But we have other things to work on in the meantime, Rocket Man. Okay, so it is going to take a while. Get this whole pot, get it up to a boil, add in a bunch of salt, and we will let the chicken stew. Get it inside. Get it inside. And I say a bunch of salt. This is a big old pot of stew, my friends. This is a big old pot of Seco de Pollo. Okay? And just gently mix it all in. And it smells wonderful. The aroma is incredible. The beer, the orange juice, it's all going to get nice and thick, my friends. I promise you. This is not the most traditional method for doing it. This is my own stew method. I just want to be absolutely flavor maxing for this today. Okay? Ooh, look at that color. Look at that sheen. Look at it bounce around. And now, everybody, in goes my chicken. So super, super important. Everybody, I need you to take note of something. We're adding both chicken legs and chicken breasts. The chicken legs need to be cooked a lot longer than the chicken breasts do. The reason for this is because the legs, they benefit from being cooked up until 175. It makes them nice and tender. The chicken breast is super lean. It doesn't have any fat. Those we want to pull out at roughly 155 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so all of this stuff, it's all going to reduce. It's all going to simmer down. We want this to be gently, gently, gently simmering. We'll go in with the chicken legs, my friends. We'll go in with them now. We'll just plop them in. They're going to get submerged. They're going to get buried. That's okay. That's going to help facilitate nice, even cooking. Get the stew up to a boil. Drop it to a simmer. And then we let it slowly, slowly cook. Just like that. So, this is going to take a while. This is going to take a decent amount of time. In order to help it first generate a little bit of heat, we don't need to immediately evaporate everything. Just to be able to get this up to a nice gentle bubble, I'm going to put a lid on it to just help it get to that temperature faster, my friends. So on it all goes. I'm going to go get my sheet tray into the dishwasher. We're all done with that for today. I have a couple of things I can also put away in the meantime. And yeah, everybody, in total, this is going to be about 30 to 40 minutes of cooking or so. 30 to 40 minutes for the legs. The chicken breast, once this does come up, is going to be 15 minutes. We take it out, and then we want to reduce it down until it's all nice and thick and delicious. Okay, it's going to be lovely. It's going to be incredible. So I'm really, really excited about it. Does anybody have any questions for me in the meantime? Okay. So, everybody, the best time to clean things like strainers, as always, is just as soon as they're ready. I know that this is a closed pot. I know this isn't the most interesting thing in the world right now, but it will get there and it will get really, really beautiful. Also, Existente, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Okay, almost there. We're almost at a bubble. I'm just going to go ahead and discard all of the stuff that came out of my pressure cooking pot. And we might even need to do some dishes on stream. If anybody has any questions, this would be a lovely time to go ahead and ask me. Today we are in it for the long haul. Today is not going to be a short stream at all. And that's okay. That's all right. I want to give this stream a proper send-off. I want to give this kitchen a proper send-off. And then we'll go ahead and proceed with all the other different little things that we need to get done today. Okay. So my strainer, I do need to wash that up in a moment. So let's see, everybody. Is this at a nice little bubble? It sure is. We're going to be dropping that heat down. We don't want it boiling too aggressively. If you let it boil too aggressively, especially the chicken breasts, you'll overcook the outside before the inside of it is done. Okay? Is there a reason to do the initial high temperature, Rocket Man? It's just for us to be able to get to that simmering point faster. And then we get to regulate and control it. You see how aggressively it's bubbling? It does not need to be that aggressive. You will absolutely overcook your chicken breasts if you do it this way. So drop that heat down a little bit. Right? It's breaking the surface tension on the top of it. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be delicious. It's going to get nice and saucy and nice and thick. And el Seco de Pollo is going to come out lovely. Not a question, but my mom says you're pretty. Thank you, Godzilla, because I really appreciate it. I say the same to your mom, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to reciprocate that. Okay, everybody, I'm setting a timer for 40 minutes. Now, the actual length of time it'll take to cook the chicken through is entirely dependent on how big your pieces of chicken are. My chicken is quite small. To get my chicken breast cooked through at this stage is only going to be about 15 minutes. So in 10 minutes, I'm going to do a little temperature check. I'll take a little temperature probe, and I'm looking for about 155 degrees internal. I don't want to keep my chicken breasts cooking and cooking until oblivion, because that way they will get overcooked and dried and sad. And everybody, I don't want sad, dry, overcooked chicken. Okay? I don't want it, and you don't want it either. So let it go. Let it do its own thing. It's going to take a while for it to reduce to the point that we want it. We just have to be a little bit patient, my friends. Okay? Okay, so what can I do in the meantime? I am going to need this metal strainer. The best time to clean it is now. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done really quickly for us today, because I'm going to be using the strainer for the rice. For the rice itself, we'll be washing it up. We'll be frying up a little bit of onion inside of there. We'll be frying some of the rice as well. And it'll come out fluffy and soft and delicious. Or at least is my hope that it will. Okay. Excellent. That's all ready for our use today. But yeah, guys, we're now just going to be taking a chill a little bit. We don't have a lot of crazy prep work to do. We have to still slice the cilantro, slice the scallions, slice the onion for the rice, get the rice nice and washed, slice the plantains, and then also fry the plantains as well. So it's not a crazy amount of stuff. It's not a crazy amount of work that we have left ahead of us. It's just that the fact that the cooking the chicken, that is going to take the longest amount of time. I think everybody that watches has a beautiful soul. I think so too. If you're watching this stream, you've made it. Okay. Excellent. And I can get all of my chicken stock scraps thrown away into the trash can. It has served its purpose. We have made our own delicious homemade chicken stock, everybody, as always. As you know, we don't mess around with any of the pre-made chicken stocks. You could do powdered bouillon. Those are really delicious, but I will never do a canned or boxed chicken stock. Those just always suck. They're so expensive. They have that canned flavor. They're not gelatinous at all. They lack so much flavor. They're just not it. Always, always, always homemade chicken stocks when we can. And everybody, you know what time it is? It's Modelo time. Ugh. I don't drink. I have a bad liver. I just want to take a little sip just to say it's Modelo time. Okay. Chef, off topic of this video, and that's okay, Rocket Man. You can ask off-topic questions. It doesn't just have to be about this dish. Do you know why pork, specifically in my area, is randomly slimy? Like pork chops. Sometimes, despite how you thought, it comes out bad. Okay, the answer of why meat is slimy, okay, is typically because it has just been sitting out for some amount of time. Typically, when it is sliced and has been sitting out for a considerable amount of time, water continues to get pushed out of it. The slice that was made onto it doesn't become as clean, and the texture of it becomes compromised. What it sounds like is it stayed in a wet environment, meaning it was wrapped in plastic for a good few days. Now, I would consider air drying it. I would consider air drying it, putting it onto a sheet tray, putting it onto a wire rack, and letting it go for a few days like that in the fridge. I think that should be able to help out with some of the sliminess. But otherwise, I think the pork at your local store might just not be the freshest. So everybody come take a look. It is gently bubbling away. It's going to take some time for it to go ahead and get nice and thick. Let's see. So, the strainer is all washed. I guess we could walk through the process of washing the rice. Washing the rice is going to take up a little bit of time. Everybody, let's do the rice. Let's go talk about the rice right now. Did I see I saw the TV glow? I have not. I've heard people talking about it. I don't know why they are. I've heard it's good. I just don't really go out to see things. Or I don't know if it's a show or a movie. Okay, everybody, let's talk about the rice. The Seco de Pollo is currently going. It's not the texture that we want it to be yet, but you just need to go ahead and give it some time. We have to make the Plátanos. We have to go ahead and make the rice as well for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Also, Mr. Passionate, I got Gengar because that's my favorite Pokemon. This says Scorpion on it. My favorite twink from Naruto, Savory. He has his tattooed on his chest. And then on my wrists is Nanika's face because I like Hunter x Hunter. And then I have some other tattoos that I can't show. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to need to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, please, and thank you. I'm going to be walking you through the process of how to make perfect stovetop rice every single time without fail. And no, this is not clickbait. Okay? Perfect stovetop rice. You don't necessarily need a rice cooker. You do not need a rice cooker. I will show you the process and I will show you how to make it perfectly each and every single time for good, consistent results. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about my rice choice. Everybody, I'm using a little something called Haiger rice today. I'm going to show you the packet of it. And I'm not measuring it. I'm just going ahead and getting a bunch of it inside of my little pot here. I'm using Haiger rice. So, you might be asking me, what is Haiger rice and why am I using it, especially because it doesn't sound like it would be in this cuisine of things. So, allow me to explain to you. Haiger rice is basically in between brown rice and white rice. This is Haiger rice. So, brown rice has the bran and the germ attached. Haiger rice has the bran removed, but the germ intact. White rice has the bran and the germ polished off. So Haiger rice has the germ intact. What does this mean? This means that it has a little bit more fiber, it has a little bit more flavor, but it doesn't take nearly as long as to cook. Because normally brown rice, it has the bran intact. It takes a very long time for the water to penetrate it. It takes 40 minutes. The bran is polished off, but we don't get any of the taste of the brown rice. We get a little bit of it, and we get it nice and fluffy, and it's more nutritional. That is why I really, really like Haiger rice. So I want the fluffiness of white rice. I want the nutrition and the flavor of brown rice. Haiger rice, that is what it is. It is in between the two. What is the healthiest rice to eat? Mr. Passionate, there is no such thing as a healthy or an unhealthy food. If we're talking healthiest in terms of, oh, this has the most amount of fiber, well, the answer is brown rice. Right? The brown rice, it has the most amount of nutritional value intact. So that would be the healthiest rice to eat. Okay, everybody, we're going to be washing this rice out to get rid of all of the excess starch from it. And we'll be washing it gently to keep the germ intact. Now, I'm going to take the chat with me. Everybody, you're coming with me. I can watch you all as I wash the rice. And you'll just go ahead and watch my pot boil. You'll watch it stew. You'll watch that chicken go for a little bit. We'll give a little temperature reading in a second. And everybody, all I'm doing is I'm getting in there with my hands and I'm agitating the rice slightly, filling it up with water and pouring the water out. And we're going to do this 6 or 7 times until we have rinsed off as much starch as we would have liked. So just rinsing it out, rinsing it out, rinsing it out. Getting all of that excess starch off of it, my friends. Also, Stasser is welcome on it. It's lovely to have you. Is the Daramgar method same for the white rice, or would you cook it less? So, Dolingo, the answer is this. For white rice and hygge rice, the answer is the same. Meaning, we take it to a boil, drop it to a simmer, cook it for 20 minutes, fluff it, cook it a little bit longer. That method is the same. For brown rice, that does take extensively more cooking time, right? That takes upwards of 40 minutes. And so what you would do is you would soak it in advance, and that helps it to cook evenly without burning the bottom. But for hygge rice, the method is exactly the same. Meek, what's going on? Meek, what happened? So everybody, I'm just gently washing the rice. Gently, gently, gently. Getting some of that excess starch off of it. Almost done. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to drain the rice. We're going to be straining it out and letting it sit there. And I'll explain to you why in just a second. So everybody, come take a look. My rice is now beautifully washed. Okay, we've rinsed off the excess starch from it, and now we're letting it dry off a little bit. And there is a very specific reason why I'm drying it off. That's because the rice will be fried in some of the butter. Because this rice is going to be a white rice, but we want to give it a little bit of extra flavor. I'll be frying some onions, I'll be adding the rice to that, and I want the rice to toast a little bit in the butter. If we were to leave the rice wet, first of all, we would not be able to control our moisture ratio as much. Second of all, we would not be able to actually fry and toast the rice itself. So by letting it dry this way, we do give it the ability to toast. Chef, do we always wash the rice the same amount, or is there times you want to wash more or less? So good question, Total Gomi. Really extreme example of this. Risotto, arborio rice, carnaroli rice, super short grain, super starchy rice. You're not supposed to really wash it because you want all of that starch to go into the final product. So the answer is it's completely subjective. If your goal is to get as much starch into the final dish as possible, something creamy, gloopy, soft, mushy, then you wash it less. If your goal is for it to be very granular and separated, okay, then you would wash it more. So that's my answer for you, Total Gomi. It depends on your use case. So in this case today, I didn't wash it until it was crystal clear. I still wanted to have some amount of starchiness, some amount of gloopiness. Okay, and now everybody, because my chicken has now been going for about 10 minutes or so, I want to go ahead, I'm gonna just scrape off the sides really quickly. I wanna see how the chicken breast is doing. The chicken breast is the most likely part of the whole thing to overcook. We're going to give it a bit of a temperature reading. I wanna pull this out whenever it reads 150 degrees Fahrenheit, 155, and then we'll put it back in once it's done cooking. So, I'm gonna grab a little temperature probe. I don't have my new one coming in yet. Oh no, it's dead. Wait a second, that's the wrong thermometer. I have another thermometer. I know I have another thermometer somewhere. Okay, I did have another thermometer. Lovely. Excellent, all's good. The chicken breast is safe in there, that's right. How long will the rest of the meat take? It all depends on the size of the meat itself that you're cooking here. The chicken breast, that really only needs 10 to 15 minutes. The chicken thighs and legs, you can't really overcook it. The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want it to fall apart. I want it to be tender enough that it looks like it wants to fall apart, but it stays intact enough and it stays on the bone. So putting it in, right into the thickest part of the chicken breast. And everybody, I can tell you with confidence right now that my chicken breast is nice and fully cooked through. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a plate, transfer it on. The chicken legs, because of the fact that there's a bone running through it, will take that much longer. Okay, wipe that plate off. Everybody, the chicken breast, out it comes. It is perfectly cooked. It does not need any additional cook time. I can promise you that much. So out she goes. Come on, little buddy. Nope, that's a chicken leg. Where's my chicken breast? That's another chicken leg. That's one chicken breast. Nice and seasoned, nice and perfectly stewed. Everybody, you don't want to stew this past 155 because it'll just get tough and chewy and it'll get dry and unpleasant. And I don't think that's what we want with our chicken breasts, is it? I accidentally touched the bottom of the pan. I did the one thing I told you all not to do. Do as I say, not as I do sometimes. But usually do as I say, please. I like it when you listen to me. And if all is correct, I think I dropped one of my tenders. one of my lovely little chicken tenders inside of the pot. So let's see if we can fish it out. Let's see if I can find where it's living at the moment. Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe the chicken tender stayed nice and intact. It's kind of difficult to find anything in this murky liquid. I don't think so, actually. I think everything's nice and intact. I swear there's a chicken tender in here, actually. I don't think I'm insane. What's this? No, everybody, I think I might be insane. Okay, the chicken legs need to cook now, my friends. They need to cook. Let them do their thing. These bad boys, you can do a slightly more aggressive heat because you're not too worried about overcooking the chicken legs themselves. Okay? They're not going to overcook as long as you don't completely shred them into death, and you'll be able to tell. The chicken legs, you want them to be fully cooked through. You want them to be nice and soft. You want them to be nice and tender. Look at this beautiful pot. Look at this beautiful cauldron, my friends, with this incredible seasoned liquid. Homemade chicken stock, beer, sazon, orange juice, orange zest. It has so much love. It has so much... I splashed some on the ground. It has so much love. It has so much flavor. Everybody, please make sure that you're scraping down the sides of your pan. Don't leave any of it too dry. Don't leave any of it to stick. Don't leave any of it to burn. Make sure that you're wiping off the sides of your pan and incorporating it back into the rest of the pot. It does look delicious, doesn't it? It looks wonderful. Okay, next thing that we have to do, we have to go work on some onions. We have to go work on some cilantro. For the rice itself, we got to prep the plantains. I'm going to go ahead and have a nice little taste. See how this is coming along flavor-wise. Ooh. Everybody, that's good. Ooh. Even at this stage, even liquidy and loose and not thick and saucy, I'm going to tell you right now that this chicken is already going to be special. It's already going to be delicious. That is really, really wonderful. That is really, really special. Everybody get back in there. Scrape down the sides. Make sure nothing is stuck to the bottom. The sofrito has contributed its flavor. Our homemade chicken stock, the beer. This is a really, really, really special dish. And it's going to be done with love, and it's going to be done with integrity, and it's going to come out really, really beautiful. Okay, is everybody still following along? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please, and thank you. You want to taste it, though? I know, me too. Well, guess what? I can taste it, and you can't. That's why you got to make this dish on your own. A lot of people, they'll do this dish differently. Seco de Pollo is made all over South America. It's made all over Latin America. This is my specific variation that I'm doing here, you know. Ooh. Chef, I might sound stupid, but you can't deglaze a Dutch oven pot, right? So if something gets stuck, you just clean it? Well, Rocket Man, what are you talking about? If there's fond stuck onto it, absolutely can get deglazed. Just about anything can get deglazed. So I'm not actually entirely sure what you're referring to at the moment. I'm not really sure what you're talking about here. You can absolutely deglaze it. Now, a lot of people, they have Dutch ovens where the bottom of it is scorched and burnt to death, and they have chipped enamel, and they think the chipped enamel is stuff stuck to the bottom of it, but no, they've just destroyed their cast iron and their Dutch ovens, or excuse me, their enamel Dutch ovens. Get it all in there. It's all stewing. It's all coming together. Beautiful. This is going to be rich and flavorful and thick and delicious in, I wouldn't say no time, in a considerable amount of time. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and work on some of the other prep that we need to get done for today. So, normally, I make my rice dishes very, very simple. This is still going to be a white rice. This rice is not going to be flavored with any spices. We'll still just be doing it really, really simple. We just have a nice big old sweet onion, my friends. And I'm going to need for today, I'm going to say a quarter of this onion. This is absolutely a massive, whoa, hello. This is an absolutely massive onion. We only need a quarter of it. The goal is not for the onion to become so overpowering inside of the rice itself. The goal is just for the onion to contribute a little bit of flavor. The rest of the onion I'm going to go ahead and throw into my fridge. Okay? And just peel back those layers of onion, my friends. Get that skin off. Get it off. Get it out of here. And I'm looking for a super, super fine dice. I want it to be super, super fine. The goal of the onion is to make the rice nice and flavorful and aromatic and sweet. The goal of the onion is not to be able to bite into chunks of it. The onion is a flavoring component for the rice. This is still going to be a white rice. It's still going to be nice and fluffy. But again, everybody, just nice and thin. Thin, 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 thin incisions. Fan out the onion. Give it a quarter turn. Fan it out. Fan it out. It's going to start falling apart a little bit. That's okay. Fan it out, everybody. Okay? These chunks have already fallen out. Stack it back up and get a nice, small, thin, 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 thin dice. Just like this, my friends. Nice and small, nice and small, nice and small, nice and small, nice and small. Because again, the goal of this onion is to melt in and make the rice nice and delicious, to make it all nice and flavorful. I did Duolingo a little bit earlier on. Everybody, as another reminder, once again, this is the last stream before we go on hiatus for a few weeks. Please join the Discord. You can type in !Discord. It's a lovely community. We're going to go on hiatus. We'll have a brand new kitchen, a whole new apartment. It's going to be amazing. Follow me on Twitter and join the Discord for the updates. Additionally, if you would like to support the cooking show, my goal is to be able to do this full-time one day. And I would like for this to all be independently funded. For any of you that have the ability to help support the show, Patreon is the best way to directly support the show financially. My goal is to basically produce this into a full kitchen show, full cooking show. Kitchen tour when done? Yeah, that sounds wonderful, Jay. Okay, so back on the 10th. That's correct, Trash Can Cat Mom. That is the tentative date. If everything goes according to plan, it might be a little sooner, it might be a little later. But right now, the 10th is estimated. Chef, how many knives do I have? I have my petty knife. I have my little paring knife. I also have my Kramer chef's knife. I have my Mizuno UX10 Gyudo knife. I also have a fish knife, as well as, what am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing something. But those are the go-to ones that I use all the time. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go take this lovely onion and just get it thrown into a little tiny bowl, just for safekeeping, to keep it nice and safe until we are ready to cook with it. Excellent. And we'll just be beautifully frying up these onions. It'll come out nice and delicious. The rice is going to be slightly sweet from these onions. It's going to be nice and aromatic. But still, I'm looking for a very fluffy, soft white rice. That is my peak texture that I have in mind for at least today's purposes. Okay, next, I'm just going to go already just pre-measure out the amount of butter that I want to use. This rice is going to be fried in some butter because why not? So let's go get a nice generous chunk of butter, and I'm just going to be throwing that into maybe a little bit more. What's a square knife blade called? Good question. This is called a bench scraper. It's not a knife at all. It's used to purely pick things up and off of the cutting board. Love it. Love it to death. Everybody needs a bench scraper. These are incredible, incredible tools to have. It just cleans everything up really nice and easy. Okay, onion, butter, and then also the rice is currently being strained at the moment. We're currently just getting all of that excess liquid off of it. It soaked up some of it, that's okay. The Seco de Pollo is continuing to simmer, it's continuing to bubble along. Let's come back to it. Let's see how the chicken legs are doing. I'm really just trying to cook the chicken legs just before they look like they want to fall apart. The chicken legs need enough time for them to get nice and tender. So I'm just going to flip them around slightly. I'm going to go back in with my wooden spoon and scrape up anything and everything that is stuck to the sides of the pan. Nice and gentle. Get in there, my friends. Get in there, get in there. Scrape it up, scrape it up, scrape it up. It's all cooking along. It's all going super, super well at this point. And I want to have another taste of that incredibly flavorful cooking liquid. I want to see how much flavor we have developed in this amount of time. Take a nice little teaspoon of that. Aromatic from the orange juice, flavorful from the sofrito and the homemade chicken stock, and it's continuing to reduce. It's continuing to get more and more intense in that flavor profile. Ooh, that is good. That is so good, everybody. Wow. That combination of flavors, honestly, to die for. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit more vegetable prep done. We have to slice the cilantro. We have to slice up some scallions for today as well. And then we got to cook the rice. We got to make the plátanos. and everything is going to be delicious. Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and begin with that now. Let's begin with my scallions. And everybody, the reason why I'm using scallions for this dish, even if it's not traditional, I had some leftover scallions and I wanted to use them up before they went bad. So, bunch of scallions going on. Some of them will just get mixed into the stew itself, and then some of it will just be used for some nice little garnishing purposes. Lovely little scallions, as always, containing with a paper towel. And everybody, because these are going to be scallions for garnish, I want to get really, really beautiful slices of scallion. I want some really nice shrapnel, almost. Okay? So take them and bunch them up, and bunch them up, and bunch them up. Like so. Actually, these scallions might be a little too long to just slice as is. Especially some of these end pieces, they're all curly. So just slice them in half, stack them up, and everybody go get some really nice thin but wide blades. Slice it, 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 slice all the way through. Slice it, my friends. Don't chop it, don't crush it, just slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it, and then we'll get these incredible little blades of scallion. It'll make for an excellent garnish for the Seco de Pollo. I could have probably done this dish with 2 whole chickens, but that would have been a lot of food. I think I might have made like a little too much of like my liquid component. I might have had a little too much tomato, but that's okay. Keep it going. Keep it all slicing. Get a bunch of really, really nice little blades of scallions, my friends. There you go. We're keeping it chill. If you have any cooking questions, it can be about this dish. It can be about something else. I love scallions. There's no such thing as too many scallions, as you all know. By now, at least, you should know. Okay, and then a little bit more. Just slice it through, slice it through, slice it through. Get them nice and pretty. The scallion whites are already inside of the Seco de Pollo. They're already cooking in. They take a little bit longer, so we saute them. We got them nice and soft, nice and aromatic. There you go. Wonderful. And I'm going to grab a little plate and put all of my scallions onto the plate. Scoop them all up, add them to the plate. And I can go ahead and get rid of this little Tupperware container that I had. That's all done. She's done a wonderful job for us today. Okay, next up, everybody, we gotta get that cilantro in. There's no such thing as Latin American cuisine without cilantro. Not at all, not in the slightest. And so, you know, we have to have plenty of it. So let's go get that cilantro on there that we've already taken the stems off of. And we're just gonna pursue a nice, beautiful, thin slice. Look at all of this big bundle of cilantro, my friends. Everybody, I'm gonna need your attention for this. I wanna hear a nice, resounding yes, chef, please, and thank you from everybody watching. So, I need to explain to you all something. I need to explain to you all something really, really important. Okay, herbs, fresh herbs, basil, parsley, cilantro, parsley, I already said parsley, tarragon. They're very volatile. What does that mean? The more that you crush it, the more that you process it, the more that you chop it, what ends up happening is the more of the cells that you actually expose, the more surface area it ends up having, the more cells you end up crushing, and the more it oxidizes and loses flavor, loses its beautiful vibrant green color, and turns brown. So, there's 2 schools of thought, and they're both wrong, and I'm going to explain to you why they're wrong. The traditional Italian school of thought, you must never cut basil, you must only tear it with your hands. And then the other side of it, with YouTube chefs, taking a little bit of cilantro and drilling their knife through it. They crush it and they chop it like this. And to both I say, they're wrong. Everybody, to get beautifully sliced cilantro, we slice it, we don't chop it. I'm going to say it again. We slice it, we do not chop it. And I'm going to show you a difference. I'm going to show you what the 2 of them accomplish. Nice sharp knife. I'm going to set aside a little bit of cilantro to sacrifice. This is my sacrificial cilantro. Take the rest of the cilantro. Bundle it up in your hands, everybody. A slice uses the full length of your knife with minimal vertical force. You just gently pull it through. You don't push it. So take all of your cilantro and bundle it up really, really gently. Bundle it up, bundle it up, bundle it up. Okay? Bundle it up. Okay? And now, take the cilantro, everybody, and slice it. Don't chop it. Don't push it down. Don't rock chop it. I hate that technique above all else. Thinly, thinly, with minimal pressure, minimal force. Just slice it. Let the knife do the work. Don't use the weight of the knife. Just gently push it through. Nice sharp blade. It keeps the cilantro nice and vibrant, nice and green. You can do this too, everybody. Just go slowly. There's no such thing as you suck. Durgans, if you're struggling, your knife is too dull. Trust me, good equipment and patience, anybody can do this. Take it back in. Take it back in. And we're going to just pass it through one more time. Everybody ready? Just pass it through to get rid of any big chunks of leaves, but I don't need this too finely minced for today. I just want it nice and processed so that we don't bite into a whole leaf of cilantro. Slice it, slice it, slice it, beautifully slice it. And there you go, my friends, some really, really basic sliced cilantro. Gorgeous, isn't it? And now let me show you what not to do. The cilantro is bright green, it's vibrant, it's exactly what we want it to be. Let me show you the bad technique. Cilantro, this is what YouTube chefs, they do this and it bothers me because it destroys the herb, it crushes it, it bleeds it all over the cutting board, it oxidizes it, it truly, truly destroys it. This is a technique that I loathe, and I don't say that gently, I don't say that lightly. Here's what they do. I'm not even gonna bother with my nice knife here. I'm gonna take another knife. It's still sharp. This is a knife that my mom uses mostly. Here's what they do. Ready? They do this. They do this insane grinding motion. Where this is, I believe, the cordon bleu school of thought. Where they take their knife and they keep grinding it against their cutting board and they think that they're a chef because they're going super fast like this. And then they take it and they do the rock chop. They take it and they go like this. And they think that this is slicing. They call this, oh, terrible. Everybody, your cilantro stuck to the cutting board, your knife grinding against the wood and dulling the knife itself. The cilantro effectively destroyed, gonna oxidize, gonna turn brown. Horrible. Terrible technique. Do not do it. Gently slice it instead, everybody. This will still use. It's just not the same. It is not the same. I hate this knife technique where people put the tip of it down and they rotate it like this because it keeps dulling your blade over and over and it's not a slice. Okay, we only slice here, everybody. So, cilantro, scallions are ready to go. We're going to go ahead and begin on the rice in just a second. I'm just gonna go wash off my chef's knife because it's a carbon steel knife. And so if I leave it too wet and exposed to the elements for too long, it'll rust. So everybody, my Seco de Pollo, it continues to just simmer. It continues to stew. It continues to cook, and it looks phenomenal at the moment, I've got to say. Also, Midnight Cicada, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. And everybody will be inspecting the chicken legs. We'll be taking out the chicken legs if it looks like that they're tender enough. I want them super, super soft. I want my chicken legs to be nice and melty. I don't want to struggle as we eat it, okay? And the Seco de Pollo is continuing to reduce. It's continuing to intensify in flavor. We're continuing to concentrate it. And soon enough, my friends, with enough patience, it will absolutely thicken. Okay? So, we'll go back in there with our spoon. And we'll scrape up the sides. We'll scrape up the bottom of the pot. We'll make sure that everything is cooking along nicely. I'm gonna pick up a chicken leg. I'm looking for the skin to separate from the chicken leg bone. I'm looking for it to feel really, really soft. Now here's the thing, I pick this up. It still feels super tense in my tongs. I pick this up. It feels super tense in my tongs. This is still going to need, I wanna say at least another 5-6 minutes for it to be the peak tenderness that I am seeking for today. Everybody, this stove is going to need to be used now for my rice. I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to a different burner, just so that we have this available for Mr. Rice. I'm going to have this cooking along right here. And everybody, let's go ahead and melt that butter. The goal now is to fry the onions. We're going to fry the onions. We're going to fry the rice a little bit. We're going to add in just enough liquid, put a tight seal on it, and let it go and let it cook. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point in time? I do want to taste that liquid again, though. I want to see how it's coming along. Everybody, that Seco de Pollo is delicious. Serena, Jesus, what a joke. Okay, the butter is melting. And the butter doesn't need to be too hot. In fact, we're not even really looking to caramelize the onion here. We're just looking to soften it enough, and we're looking for it to infuse into the butter. We have to be careful to not cook the butter on too high of a heat, because otherwise the butter will end up browning. It's going to contribute a bit of a toasted flavor that I am not looking for in my rice today. I want my rice to be fluffy and soft and a little bit sweet and aromatic from the onion. But I'm not looking for any of those super developed golden flavors that the onion could potentially give us. Okay? So, soft white rice, that is still what we're going to be approaching today. And so, even when the butter isn't too hot, it's a nonstick pan, the only goal, we're not frying the onion, everybody. We're just giving it a bit of a head start. We're giving it enough of a head start for it to get nice and soft in the cooking process. I would love to hear another yes, chef, please and thank you. So let's get that onion inside. Everybody, low heat. Don't brown that butter. Remember, butter is not a pure fat. It's not just straight clarified butter. It has milk solids and it has some water inside of it. If you evaporate the liquid too quickly on too high of a heat, you will begin browning the milk solids and you will begin developing a browned butter. That is not what I want today. That is not what I am pursuing. And thus, we have to be really, really careful that we don't accidentally achieve that. The only thing I want to do is to soften up my onions and get them just the slightest bit golden. The littlest, tiniest bit, the lightest amount. So, a little bit of salt goes in. Well, actually, we could probably do a decent amount. Salt goes in, onions with the butter. Really simple, just a very, very basic, fluffy white rice is what you and I will be achieving today. Spread it out. And also, everybody, really quickly, why am I using a nonstick pan? I'm using a nonstick pan because its ability for things to not stick to it and its generally crappier heat conductivity, it actually stops the rice from burning as much on the bottom of the pot. That's a very common problem that you can have. The bottom of the pot gets a little bit crispier. Now, normally with a stainless steel pan that could be favorable. In the case of this white rice, I want it to be fluffy and I want it to be soft and I don't want it to be scorched on the bottom. Okay? So, nice low heat, everybody. Low heat. Just soften up those onions and you can smell it already. It's onions and butter, right? One of the oldest combinations known to mankind. And we're going to do one little extra bit of preparation. So normally, a lot of steam escapes in the cooking process. When a lot of steam escapes, a very, very big problem is that you actually end up with the top of the rice not being properly cooked. The bottom of the rice could scorch, the middle of the rice could be perfectly cooked, but the top of the rice might end up being a little bit burnt. In order to mitigate that, we're going to do a very, very tight foil seal on my lid for today. The foil is naturally going to be able to wrap around the pan, and it's going to just be able to keep the heat in a little bit better. So all that I'm doing, I don't really have to explain what I'm doing here, actually, I think. Right, you all get the idea. The foil itself, it's going to really, really help us to get a bit of a tighter seal as the rice ends up cooking. Okay, a bit of a tighter seal. The top of the rice is going to be nice and moisturized. It's going to keep the humidity inside of the pot. Okay, let's come back to the onions really quickly. The onions are frying in this butter really nicely. They've begun to get just the slightest bit of golden, and I can smell where that butter is. Everybody, this butter does not need additional frying. This onion does not need additional frying anymore. And I'll overdevelop some of those toasted flavors that I am not explicitly not looking for today. So in goes my haiga rice, washed and drained, and we're going to give this the slightest bit of toast. And this is going to help promote it to be nice and individual and granular, so that it's not all clumped together, right? Turn that heat up to like a medium or so. And get that rice just ever so slightly toasted and mix the onion through. Everybody, I'm going to teach you how to make perfect stovetop rice every single time without fail. No measurements, none of that. We're not doing any ratios, no nonsense like 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. All of that is nonsense. I'm going to teach you how to get the best consistency of the rice according to your desires and the texture that you personally are seeking. Okay, so get that rice in there, just toast it up ever so slightly. And in fact, we'll do a little bit of salt in there. We don't need a lot of salt because the Seco de Pollo is going to be the salinity. That is where all of the flavor, all of the salt is going to be. This is just to give it a little bit of a head start. Typically in East Asian cuisines, you don't see seasoned rice dishes, right? It's usually bland white rice and then served with a flavorful thing. And so, you know, in Latin American cuisine, that is where you would typically see more so the idea of a heavily seasoned rice, or in Middle Eastern cuisine, right? So everybody, come take a look. The onion, the rice has just been ever so slightly toasted. It does not need to be significantly toasted. Here's all that we do, really nice and simple. Slowly pour in water. We want to get to the same level as the rice, and then a few millimeters above. The more water you add, the gloopier and mushier it's going to end up being. So add in that water. Get it just to the same level as the rice, my friends, so that it stays nice and fluffy, but not completely clumped up and mushy. Mix it in. See how much water we have. I'm going to say I want a little drop more. A little teeny tiny baby drop more. In it goes. Everybody, bring it to a boil, drop to a simmer, cook it for 20 minutes on the lowest possible heat. I'm going to say it again. Bring it to a boil, drop it to a simmer, cook it for 20 minutes. Don't mix it. We'll mix it once just to make sure that the bottom isn't scorching. But by gently cooking it this way, you'll get beautifully cooked through rice. Everybody, you can't overcook rice. If your rice is too mushy, if it's too soft, it's because you have too much water inside. If the bottom is burnt, your heat was a little bit too high. The reason why rice cookers work is because if you have a set amount of moisture, you can't really overcook it. You could only probably really dry it out from that stage. It's simmering. It's bubbling up around the edges, everybody. Drop the heat. Mix it through just to make sure that the bottom is all nice and distributed. Drop the heat. Super, super low heat. And put that lid on nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Really, really press in that foil to make that seal happen, my friends. 20 minutes on the rice. That is all that you need. 20 minutes and it'll be perfectly cooked. Now, I'm going to quickly just take this off the heat because I'm going to put back on my big, beautiful pot of stew, my big, beautiful pot of Seco de Pollo. Right? All of that comes back on. The rice goes here. Drop the heat, my friends. Nice low heat, 20 minutes. Low heat, lid on. The lowest possible. If your heat is too high, you'll scorch the bottom of the rice. And that is not what we're looking to do. Low heat is key. It is critical. It is crucial. So everybody, come take a look at this beautiful pot, at this cauldron. Let's mix back in. Once again, anything that could be stuck to the sides. Let's see how the chicken legs are coming along. Again, I want those chicken legs tender. I want them tender, tender, tender. Okay, I'm going to up the heat slightly just because I really, really want this thing reducing. I want this sauce to be finally, it's finally picking up a little bit of viscosity, but I want it to be a lot richer than that. I added in too much moisture. Okay, too much moisture, so we can always fix it. We can always take it away, even if it is a bit of a hassle, even if it takes up some time. Guys, come on. That is so good. I just poured boiling hot Seco de Pollo into my mouth and I've completely scalded the bottom of my tongue. But it's all worth it. One more little spoonful. Lovely. Okay, everybody, I'm going to put away a couple of dishes. Then we'll work on the Plátanos. And then we'll plate it. We'll serve it. It'll all be delicious. It'll be fantastic. Remember, everybody, make the most out of all of your passive time. Right now, we have a little bit of downtime, right? This is all boiling. This is all coming along exactly the way that it needs to. So now just take the time, put a few things into the dishwasher, take care of all of this now so that you don't have to do so later on. I also have a big old pressure cooker pot, okay? I'm going to go ahead and wash that. I'm going to go ahead and clean that up now. I'm going to be stepping off frame while I do so. I'm going to take the chat with me. So everybody, if you have any more cooking questions, now would be the best time to go ahead and ask me as I am cleaning up that pot. I'm going to be off frame for a little bit. I'm going to take the chat with me so I can see all of you. And that's right, Serena. I did like a bit of a witchy outfit for a Halloween once, and I looked really, really cute in it. It was a very cute outfit. Okay, so You'll just see the pot. You'll just see the Seco de Pollo going. Okay? And while that's happening, I'm going to be washing up my pot. I hope you've all been enjoying the show today. Everybody, as another reminder, this is going to be the last stream before the hiatus. I'm going to be moving into a new apartment. This weekend, I'm going to be at a big fighting game tournament. May or may not be doing a little bit of commentary. I don't know if I can officially announce it yet until they've tagged me on Twitter about it. But very excited about this weekend. It's going to be a really huge weekend. Join the Discord if you'd like to be updated on when my commentary blocks will be happening and whatnot. That's right, Scribblo. CEO. Well, I'm glad that I can provide Serena. We got to make it a long one. We have to have a good send-off because this is not going to be happening for a little while. I really like doing my cooking show. As much as I say, like, oh, sometimes I need a break, sometimes I need a vacation. I love this. This has been an excellent addition into my life routine. I want to make this my life's work, and so I'm sad that it's not something I can directly do for a little bit of time. But when we come back, we'll be working on making it better than ever. We'll be improving it. We'll be getting a better camera. We'll be getting a sync shot eventually. I really, really mean it when I say that I want to make this thing special. I sure do, Shy Chica. It's not that I love streaming specifically. I love teaching a live audience in whichever form that may take. Especially really, really big live audiences. So I guess it's not the streaming itself that I really love. I love being able to teach people. I love being able to interact with people. I love being able to show people things. So I'm going ahead. I'm washing off my pot. I'm washing it off. I'm washing it off. I'm just going in there with my brush. I don't know why I'm play-by-playing my pot washing. I don't think that's exciting. It's just something that I should probably get done so I don't have to worry about it later. Okay. Any good cleaning techniques? Yeah. A sponge, hot water, and soap, and clean before things dry. That is the biggest advice that I can give to all of you. Clean before things dry, and trust me, you will have so much more success. You'll have so much more luck. Chef, is there any meaningful difference between fresh and dry garlic? Modern tragedy. Amazing question that you've just asked me. The answer is yes, and they are not interchangeable at all. So dry garlic is very, very, very pungent. It doesn't have any of the sweetness. As soon as you add the dried garlic into something like water, it immediately gets and builds up that kind of pungency. They taste very different. They're not at all interchangeable. Dry garlic can sometimes just taste like pungent fresh garlic, but in my mind, they're two very different things with very different use cases. Do I have any experience with fermentation? The answer to modern tragedy is actually not all that much fermentation. It's something that I would love to get into more as a project sometime soon. It's just not something I really know how to fully do yet. It's not something I have a very good conceptual theory and understanding of. But I did do like a pickles once. But I would really, really like to get into some more fermentation stuff in the future. It's just a bit of an undertaking. It's a lot of, skills and techniques that I'm honestly not the most familiar with. A lot of theory that I might not be the most versed in. Okay, my pot seems to be nice and washed, nice and ready to go for next time. And it's okay, Toyota. Your first foray into that could be Joshua Weissman. That's all right. We're not going to think less of you for it, as much as I'd love to say mean things about him. Okay. Get back in here. The chicken legs should now be nice and tender at this stage, hopefully. The sauce is continuing to reduce. Continuing to just cook it all down, my friends. Continuing to just boil all of it down. Scrape up the bottom of the pot. Scrape up the sides of the pot. Again, the chicken leg maybe still needs a little bit more time, honestly. I'm seeing it still like really, really, really cling on to itself. So a little bit more cooking time could probably just do it some good. There you go. Gorgeous. My rice is cooking. My Seco de Pollo is cooking. So let's go check on the rice really quickly. So I'm actually going to be adjusting my technique here. So I've realized my rice scorches a little bit and dries out more on the bottom than I would like it to. In order to prevent this from happening, halfway into the cooking process, it's been going for about 7 minutes or so, I'm just gonna open the lid and super gently just mix it up slightly. Don't break it up. Don't mush those grains. You will get a starchy mess, my friends. Level it back out. Level it back out. Don't lose too much of that moisture. You are going to need it after all. Okay? And now I put that lid back on. Again, my goal is I really want to avoid having the bottom of the rice be super burnt, super like crispy. Okay? I want my rice fluffy. I want my rice nice and soft. Okay, almost everything is done, everybody. The last step is just cooking out the chicken, cook the rice, make the plátanos. We'll plate everything up. We'll finish the seco de pollo with the cilantro and the scallions, and then we'll serve it, and it'll be great. I want to have another taste. I want to see how this has progressed in the meantime. Everybody, that is so good. This might be one of like the best like stews I've ever made, period. That is crazy delicious. That is so good. Keep it bubbling away, keep it going. Okay, let's go ahead and prep the plantains for today. So, everybody, plantains. Let's talk a little bit about these things. This is actually one of the first times that I'm cooking plantains ever. So I want to get better at it. I love plátanos. I don't know how this process is going to go today. So everybody, I'm going to teach you all a little bit. I'm going to educate you all a little bit on how plantains work, what they are, how to cook with them, what are the different kinds of levels of ripenesses, and which one do you need for your purposes. So I'm going to need your full attention, please and thank you. Here's 2 plantains. Plantains and bananas, well, very similar, not interchangeable. The best way to think about a plantain is that it is just a banana that you can't really eat raw. Plantains they're very starchy, and they're not particularly digestible in a raw state. Similar to something like a potato. You don't really want to eat a raw potato. You don't really want to eat a raw plantain. Plantains are cultivars of bananas. So, plantains, you will typically see them in different stages of ripenesses. And also, G-Spank Gaming, plantains are not disappointing bananas. They can be so much more. They can be so beautiful. You see typically green plantains, yellow plantains, black plantains. That is the process of it ripening. The further it ripens, the softer it gets, the sweeter it becomes. Same exact principle as banana. Now, different stages of ripenesses have different use cases in different cuisines. In Latin American food, you have maduros. Maduros are very mature. That's what maduros means, I believe. It means mature. Really ripened. The plantain would be almost completely black, and then it would fry up. When it gets really mature like that, it doesn't get very crispy. It soaks up a little bit more oil, but the taste of it is amazing. The taste of it is so special. It's so sweet and jammy. Green plantains would be typically used for something like tostones. Tostones are plantains that are first fried a little bit, then they take them, smash them flat, and fry them again. They're not super sweet, but they're a little bit crispier. These plantains, I would have liked them to be closer to maduros. I would have wanted them to be basically the really like blackened plantain. Unfortunately, mine did not get there fast enough. So how do you actually ripen plantains, everybody? So you could just leave them out, but the fastest way to ripen a plantain is to put them into a plastic or a paper bag. It traps the ethylene gas, which is then responsible for the process of ripening and it becoming softer and sweeter. So put it into a little bag, put it into a little plastic bag, put it into a little paper bag, and you can let it go there for days or even weeks depending on how ripe it is and depending on what you want it to. This is in between like the yellow and the black plantain. I would have wanted this to be completely pitch black. Unfortunately, we did not get so lucky. So, plantains. Oh, I can hear my rice is quickly sizzling. So I'm just going to give it a little move around. Just make sure that she's doing okay. And slightly lower that heat. Right? Because again, I don't want my rice to overdevelop a crust. on the bottom. So gently, gently lowering that heat, lowering it super, super low. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll just cut the top and the bottom of this lovely plantain off. It's a little bit more easy to peel that way, and we don't really need the ends of the plantain. Okay? Seco de pollo is a meal worth waiting for. That's right, Jason. So we'll just cut off the tops and bottoms. Did I pierce my finger again? The answer is a solid maybe. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and put on some gloves, actually. Goth moth, these are not bananas. These are plátanos. These are plantains. So not at all. I'm quite unaccustomed to working with plantains, by the way. So this is going to be a very nice trial run for me. I want to see how it goes. I love plantains. I want to be able to get really, really good at them. Okay? And then you're just going to peel these just like you would a banana from here on out. Same exact deal. It depends on how ripe it is, right? Sometimes it comes off a little easier than others. Yeah, these are a little bit tougher, a little bit coarser than your average banana peel. Okay? Take it and just peel that bad boy off. Take it and just peel that bad boy off. Nice, beautifully ripe plantain. Let's go ahead and do the same with the second one. In fact, I might just make a little incision all the way to really help facilitate the process of peeling it. And again, ideally, I would have wanted a black plantain. I would have wanted it super, super ripened. I would have wanted, excuse me, really, really soft, really yummy. But here we go, 2 plantains. This one's very clearly more mature than this one. And so we're going to be cutting this to about, I believe the ideal size is like 3/4 of an inch or so. Okay? And that's going to be the perfect amount of time for it to get to the point that we want it to as it cooks. So 3/4 of an inch, everybody. Some of these are a little thicker than others, actually. I might have messed up a little bit. Okay. Okay, beautiful. Some nice little plantains, nicely sliced up. Can banana substitute Duolingo? I've never really tried. I'm sure maybe. It's just that plantains do hold up more to cooking because they tend to be a little bit more starchy. So the answer is, I don't know. That's my answer for you. Okay? Slice it up, slice it up, slice it up, slice it up. Excellent. But we want nice, sweet, ripened plantains, everybody. Okay? Okay, excellent. That's ready to go. We have to heat up a bunch of oil, and then we're essentially just going to be pan frying these bad boys. The key for these, medium heat, then you drop the heat. Medium heat stops it from sticking at first because starch wants to like crisp up a little bit. And then we slowly cook it through to get it nice and golden. It's going to soak up a good amount of the oil. That's okay. This is not meant to be a super, light dish. It's plantains at the end of the day, everybody. Okay, so understand what you're working with. I'm going to go back into the chicken and just scrape up the sides, scrape up the bottom. Make sure that nothing at all is stuck. And then I'll be moving this off of the heat. Tastes incredible, I have to say. The rice is going, the seco de pollo is going. And that's right, yes, yeah, I have heard that like in African cooking, plantains, they would be called loco, or in your case, al loco, right? So I've absolutely heard that before. I'm going to go ahead and get another stove going for this Dutch oven, just to go ahead and get it happening. Ah, there you go. That's just going to be bubbling away on the other side for a little bit longer, my friends. We're going to go ahead and go in with the pan. And then we're going to need enough oil for this to properly fry. We're not sautéing this, everybody. This has to fry. So you want to use a neutral oil. You want to use peanut oil, canola oil, something that can withstand that kind of durable cooking, something with a little bit less of a flavor profile, okay? So fill up that pan, nice good glug of oil, and the goal is just to heat this up until it's like a nice medium heat. We want the oil just slightly shimmering, but not too hot. The goal for a perfectly cooked plantain is to cook it slowly. If you cook it slowly, You get to really truly caramelize all of the sugars before the plantain itself burns. Medium heat and then to low heat, everybody. I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please, and thank you. I do think that at this point there is no way in hell that my chicken legs are not done. My chicken legs will go out of the Seco de Pollo, and the Seco de Pollo will continue just to boil down and continue to reduce until it is the viscosity that is desired. So out it comes, my lovely chicken legs. This is just continuing to just bubble away, continuing to just scrape off the sides, anything that could be potentially stuck there. Okay, everybody, when these plantains come out, we're going to want to plate with a paper towel on it. They're going to be greasy. As soon as they come out, we want to be able to get rid of as much fat from them as possible so that they're not too oily at the end of the day. Okay, so really quickly, I'm just going to set up a little station. Right, just a plate and some paper towels on it. Nothing too fancy, nothing crazy. Just like so, the plantain will fry, it'll go onto the plate, and then that'll be it. It'll be really simple. It'll be really easy. Okay, the only thing is, they're going to be oily. That's okay, Meek. That is the point of a plantain. They're supposed to get a little bit oily. They're supposed to get a little bit greasy. That's all right. Not all food is meant to be so devoid of any kind of fat whatsoever. It's going to be a little bit greasy and it'll be eaten with some rice and it'll be great. Okay, so plantains, waiting for the oil to get nice and hot for us. We'll put it in there, we'll let it fry nice and gently. Are we draining oil onto the paper towel plate? Are you asking me if I'm pouring oil through it, Serena? I don't know what you're asking me. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Okay, I'm going back to my pot with my Seco de Pollo, just again continuing to scrape it up. And with that being said, by the way, my rice seems to be based just about done. So I'll show you my rice. I'll show you how perfect and delicious my rice is. We'll fold it over itself and let it steam until we're ready to eat. Okay, everybody, you ready to see this rice? It'll be beautiful. It'll be perfectly cooked. It'll be nice and delicious. Let me show you my pot of perfectly cooked stovetop rice. Fluffy and granular, all ready to go for today. That looks wonderful. Look at my rice. Perfect stovetop rice. Not mushy. It's just soft and fluffy and smells like butter and onions. And honestly, there's not much else you can ask for out of life. Beautiful, perfectly cooked stovetop rice. Put a lid back on it and just let it steam until you're ready to eat. That's all. That's just about ready. Everybody, it's going to be time for us to fry some plantains. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get it from here onto the pan itself. I don't really know how as of yet. I could put them on a plate first and just carry it on. Or I could do the really, really cringe thing where you just carry the cutting board. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to end up doing. And so I'm going to put on a glove for this just in case the hot oil splashes back up at me. Let's fry some plantains, my friends. Again, not a super high heat. Nice medium, medium low. Heat up that oil properly. And let's just go in with each and every single one of my lovely plantains. Trying my best to keep in mind when I do, whoa, hello, that one slipped out of my hands. That is as slippery as a banana is. Add them all into the oil one by one. Get them all frying. Get them all frying. Get them all frying. Get them all going. Get them all nicely frying, my friends. Oh no, did they stick to the bottom of the pot? Or will it naturally unstick itself? Well, let's see how much let's see how it goes. We'll see. I think my pan might have needed to be a little bit hotter. There's definitely a little bit, at least very little, stuck on the bottom. So we'll give them a second. We'll give them like 2 minutes or so. And we'll see how it does. But hopefully it comes out okay. We shall see. Again, my first time, everybody. So hopefully it comes out all right. Yeah, that is definitely, absolutely stuck at the bottom. And if this one's ruined, then we'll go ahead and make the next batch a little bit better. right? We'll make do. Country girls make do, don't they? We'll give it a second to naturally detach itself, and if it's completely stuck, then we'll try our best to scrape it up. Plantains are pretty easy. Well, Godzillas, mine are at least somewhat stuck. Oh, no, never mind. They just need a little nudge. Give them a little nudge with my fish spatula. And that does seem to take care of most of that stickage. But I do think my oil was a little too cold in this beginning stage, is what ended up happening here. Yep, my oil's a little bit too cold, and so as a result, they're a little bit more stuck than I would have liked. I could have probably heated it up a little bit longer, but that's okay, everybody. Live and learn. They shouldn't stay stuck. Okay, so trash can cat mama, after we flip it, we're gonna see if they naturally do end up unsticking themselves. Okay, so we'll see if that's applicable at all. And now I'm trying to figure out what is even the best way for me to get in there and physically flip them over. Maybe some chopsticks. I feel like tongs would be a little too clunky. Chopsticks would be like nice and subtle. Oh, these guys are like, this guy's stuck right back on. I see. Yeah, that one's a little stuck. He's a little out there. We'll come back to the fish spatula. Okay, that was the 2 minutes on that first side. I guess we'll just nudge him a little bit. So let's see if that flip is successful. And the answer is yes, it is. Get them all flipped over, my friends. Get them all flipped. Get them all flipped. Get them all flipped. Is it going to stick to that other side? I guess we'll find out. Get them all flipped. Get them all flipped. Get it all flipped. All of it flipped. All of it flipped. Beautiful. And now, another 2 minutes on this side. And then afterwards, everybody, we let them slowly cook for another 4 minutes or so. And we'll have some beautifully fried plantains. And it'll come out, and it'll be delicious, and it'll be lovely and spectacular. These guys on the sides, they do seem to be sticking a little bit more. I'm already noticing, but we'll just come back to it and figure it out. Okay, excellent. Nice and simple. And I'm going to go back to the Seco de Pollo, of course, and make sure that's going well. Really, really scrape up the bottom of the pot there. Make sure that nothing at all could be absolutely stuck there. That's getting nice and thick, nice and gorgeous. Great. Actually, at this point, that's when we drop the heat. And let's do 4 minutes more. I'm stealing the Serious Eats method on how to get like perfectly fried plantains. Those little guys, they do seem to be a little bit stuck. So let's see. Oh, no, they just need a little bit of help. And that seems to be perfect. Lower the heat, everybody, and let these bad boys continue to fry for another 4 minutes or so. Until it's just nice and gently caramelized all the way around and nice and cooked through. Give it some time. Give it some love, give it some effort, give it some affection, and then we'll do the second batch of plantains, and it'll be perfect. The rice is ready. The Seco de Pollo is continuing to reduce, and that also looks phenomenal at the moment, I've got to say. It's getting nice and rich and thick and delicious. Today is going to be a very special dinner, I think. A very nice proper send-off to the Dry Cooking Show. We're doing a little something new. We're doing a little something old. Nice low heat at this point, everybody. Slowly, slowly cook it through. If you heat this up a little bit too quickly, you will burn the bottom of your plantains before they fully cook through on the inside. The goal is to just slowly, properly caramelize them. Yes, they'll soak up some oil, and yes, that's okay. That happens to the best of us. So slowly and beautifully cooking through. The color on these things is looking phenomenal. Oh yeah. Oh, those are some good looking plantains, everybody. Let's see. Oh yeah. Get them nice and slowly cooking along until we have completed them. Everybody still watching? Everybody still tuning along? We might even just do the next batch of plantains like off camera, just to be able to get it done because we're already like quite overly scheduled at this point, I think. We've been going for a while. A few more minutes, we'll plate up. Oh, everybody, there's one thing I forgot, which is I want to finish my Seco de Pollo with my cilantro and my scallions as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly take this bad boy off the heat so that I can mix in front of all of you. And into this pot is going to go a big batch of all of my cilantro. And again, I'm going in there and I'm scraping up the sides. Scraping up the sides, scraping up the sides. Come on. Well, actually, this could probably wait. I think this could wait. This can wait until the very end. I want to still keep this reducing. I don't want to cook the cilantro so we don't lose all the flavor from it. We'll just come back to that. Okay. Just a couple more minutes, everybody, on my beautiful little plantains. And then they'll be all set and they'll be all ready to go for today. Nice, slowly finishing off this cooking process. Slowly is the key to make sure that it properly and beautifully gets nice and caramelized. Look at the color on my plantains, everybody. Look at the color. In fact, I could probably fry them for even longer than this, and it would be perfect. Because some of these guys are a little thick. But look at that color. Gorgeous. Beautiful little plantains. I love plantains, and so should you. I hope they're sweet. I hope that these come out sweet. I hope that these were ripe enough. That is the only thing I'm really, really worried about. If they don't come out sweet, I'll be so upset. I'll be so annoyed about it. And I'm going to go taste my Seco de Pollo again. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good, everybody. That's perfectly seasoned. That is delicious. That is now nice and properly thick, too. I'm going to add in my chicken just so that I could properly reheat again so that I can get nice and warm. So I am going to go sample one of my plantains. I want to see if it's properly cooked. I want to see if this has hit the stage that I've desired. So I'm going to just go take out this little guy right here. We'll probably finish it with a little bit of salt, although it doesn't need that much salt considering everything else is so seasoned today. If it's not sweet, your mom would murder you. Well, hopefully we will avoid any murdering in just a second. I just want to see how it came out. I'm going to just grab a little fork. This looks like a crime scene with my glove, like that. Oh, did my camera die? My camera died again. Oh no. Ugh. 1 second, everybody. Okay, I want to see if it's nice and soft, if it's nice and creamy on the inside, it's nice and crispy. Not sweet enough. I don't think these were ripe enough. They're good. Oh. But, that's good. Not the sweetness. Oh well, that's okay. Let's see if the additional frying has helped it out at all though. I got a little dark on that side, but that's okay. I do think the additional frying will definitely help with it. But yeah, these are definitely not maduros, which is what I was going for. I wanted maduros. I wanted them to be like really, really heavily, heavily cooked through. But I don't think such is possible today, unfortunately. Oh well. So it was nice. It was a little starchy, it was a little sticky, it was really tasty. But the tragedy of the matter is, I don't think these were as ripe as I would have liked them to be. I'm imagining a Maduro. I'm imagining how sweet and delicious they are. And that is not exactly the product that we have at hand, but it'll still come out delicious. So everybody, these plantains can come out and onto my paper towel lined plate. Out they go. Come on. Come on, little guy. Paper towel plate. Out they go. Paper towel plate. Out they go. Paper towel plate. I do think the additional frying absolutely has helped them to caramelize a little bit more to my liking. Paper towel plate. Come on, buddy. Thank you. Paper towel plate. Thank you. And you. And you. And you. So not exactly my ideal end product, but still a very delicious one nonetheless. Cowboy stuff, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Okay, everybody, let's get this oil back up nice and hot. We're going to do the next batch of the plantains, and then we'll be closing it off for tonight. I'm sorry about how long today was, but this is, of course, the last time before we go on hiatus. So actually, I take back my apology. I rescind it. Ooh. The Seco de Pollo, though, that's the real money maker. In fact, everybody, I'm not going to fry the next batch of plantains in front of you. I'll be handling that stuff separately. I'm going to go ahead and just get that pot back on. Let's finish off the Seco de Pollo. Let's go make the plate for ourselves, and then we can go ahead and call it a night. How does that sound? So, this bad boy full of oil, I'm going to come back to you in just a little bit, I promise. I promise we'll get back to you, buddy. It'll be okay. This guy right here, this is my gorgeous, my beautiful Seco de Pollo, my friends. Look at it. Look how glorious it is. Let's go add back in the chicken. I want to make sure that my chicken gets nice and warm again. Okay? So back in she goes. The heat is off at this point, but the cast iron pan, the Dutch oven, it holds so much heat that it stays warm even long after. Okay? So, get that back on there. Get that chicken heated back through, everybody. And now, let's go in with a nice handful of fresh cilantro, big handful of cilantro, big handful of cilantro, all of it inside, and then a bunch of scallions as well, just because we have some. And mix it all in. Mix it in, mix it in, mix it in. Look at that gorgeous color on my Seco de Pollo. Look how deep red it is, everybody. Look at that color. Look at that color. That is glorious. That is beautiful. That is absolutely perfect. Everybody, I believe it is time for us to plate. It's time for us to plate. It's time for us to assemble, and then we'll go ahead and finish off for today. So, I'm going to clean up my station really quickly. Oh, that was my tongue. I see, my tongue just opened up and it scared the hell out of me. It looks excellent now, but it still has not fully come together yet. But we'll get there. You'll see how beautiful she becomes. Everybody, let's get this plate done. First step, first and foremost, my beautiful rice. I'm going to go ahead and do the inverted bowl method. As always, because it's just my favorite way to go about it. Really fluffy, soft rice, nice and aromatic. I'm going to go ahead and just spoon it out into this little bowl. Perfectly cooked. Really yummy. And spread it out nice and flat on the inside. Spread it out, spread it out. Get it nice and packed. Get it nice and compact, my friends. Nice and compact. Gorgeous. Okay, let's go ahead and get this now onto a proper plate. And everybody, come take a look. Take this, invert it like so, flip it over, and that way you get this really, really nice mound of rice just on one side. Next, Seco de Pollo. Let's get a chicken breast and let's get a chicken leg on there, my friends. They've been heated back up. We got them back into the pot, and then we'll pour over a bunch of that gorgeous sauce. And it'll look and taste just as good. So, chicken leg and chicken breast going on now. Excellent. This is the final plating, everybody. This is it. And then, of course, we have to get a nice, big, beautiful ladle of all of that sauce. That is what makes the Seco de Pollo. That is the real star of the show today. So, let's get some of that right on. This is comforting, perfect home food. Let's go get some plantains. Nice little mound of those crispy, perfectly fried plantains, my friends. Ah, come back here. Actually, that's my snack. It's quite good. We're almost done. I'm gonna wipe it off just to make it a little bit nicer for us. And how do we finish it, everybody? With nothing other than some nice fresh cilantro. Right all the way around. That's my Seco de Pollo, completely from scratch, with a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of affection. I'm gonna take a picture, we'll do a last recap session, and then we'll eat. Okay, everybody, that's my Seco de Pollo. It is done, it is completed, it is ready to go. Chicken, broke it down ourselves, took the bones, took the vegetable scraps, made a chicken stock. Bell pepper, chilies, onion, scallion whites, all of it got chopped up. We fried the chicken. We made a spice blend out of cumin, oregano, and pimento. Fried the chicken, fried the vegetables in it, fried some garlic, added tomato paste, blended tomatoes, added it in. Added in our homemade chicken stock, added orange juice and orange zest. Added in some beer, let the whole thing cook down. Rice, perfectly cooked rice. Fried some onions and some butter, cleaned up some haigu rice, added it in. Plantains, just quickly fried in a little bit of oil. Everybody, this is our final plate in this kitchen. This is our final plate before we go on hiatus. Let's go ahead and take, we gotta have some of the chicken leg. This is the part that is the most exciting, of course. Take some of the chicken leg. Okay, let's grab it with some of the rice. Have a little bite. That rice is so good. That sauce is so good. That chicken is so tender. Chicken breast, perfectly cooked. Not dry at all. Slice it. Perfectly cooked. Nice and juicy. Nice and flavorful. The fresh cilantro. That was a good plantain. That was a really good plantain. Hear that crunch? That's it. And we're done. Thank you all for watching. This is the last time you'll see this kitchen. We're going on hiatus. We'll be back in a few weeks. New apartment, new kitchen. The setup might not be the best at first, but we'll get there. We'll make it really special. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being a part of the show. We're not going anywhere. We're just going on a brief hiatus. As we get settled in, moved into the new place. Twitch.tv/Daramgar TV. ! Discord in the chat if you'd like to join the Discord, join the community, become a part of it. Support the Patreon exclamation mark Patreon, everybody. Please, please, please. That's the best way to directly support what we have here. Thank you so much, Dosky, for the $100 donation just before we signed off. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to miss you all so much. Join the Discord to keep up with me. Follow me on Twitter to keep up with the updates. That's when you know the exact date. I believe July 10th or so is what I have projected, but it could be sooner, it could be later. It was lovely to have all of you. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you all really, really soon. And I'll miss you guys. I'll miss this kitchen too. I hope you all have a good night. Bye-bye.